Welcome to Red Sox Digest, the only show where pain, sarcasm, and a dash of hope collide nightly like a Trevor Story strikeout. We cover every loss, every meltdown, and yes, even the rare win, with brutally honest takes and zero front office fluff. Subscribe today at RedSoxDigest.com or risk being left out in the cold like a home game in April. And now, here's the crew at Red Sox Digest.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Red Sox Digest Live. I'm your host, Jim Delfino, doing something a little bit different today, obviously, with the Red Sox clinching a postseason berth for the first time since 2021. We figured we'd do something just a little slightly different, see if we can get some interactions from Twitter at whole. And if anybody wants to come on and speak and voice their opinions and talk about today's game, that would be great. If you are interested in speaking, just use the raise hand icon so that we can be alerted that you are interested in talking, and we'll be happy to get you on.
Just don't be a dugout dipshit, folks.
Yeah, we'll just delete you. Nick, I moved you over to co-host, so just check your information there.
Yep, I got it right now. Should be going right now.
Okay. Yeah, probably just a touch behind. So just while we're waiting for listeners to come on, we'll just kind of go over the game a little bit. So Nick, Kyle Harrison, 3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Tell me what you thought of Harrison tonight. I was disappointed, but I think you could kind of chalk it up to some nerves.
Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough. You can't get just 3 innings out of that. The Red Sox got lucky here tonight. I loved tonight's way of how Alex Cora managed. And I never really say that often. I don't know if you agreed on it, Jim, but how aggressive he was going to Slayton right away was gigantic and showed they wanted to win this game no matter what tonight, with throwing everybody out there in that pen to try and get this victory. I have to give him credit where credit's due. We escaped from a horrible, for the most part, Kyle Harrison start to win this game tonight and clinch ourselves the victory to head to the postseason. Outstanding work.
Yeah, absolutely. For anybody that is chiming in, if you do want to speak tonight and kind of like give us a little bit of your thoughts, just use the raise hand icon, and either Nick or myself will get you on to speak live. Yeah, Harrison wasn't good enough. I'm just going to chalk it up now that the victory is under tow. I'm going to just chalk it up to the fact that, he had some nerves. I did like the fact that he got the 6 strikeouts, trying to keep as many balls out of play as possible. The 3 walks is the issue, Nick. That's where things really hit the handle. You can't do that. You can't walk the bases loaded in the first inning. That's part of the biggest issue. But to your point on Cora, I was really surprised to see Slayton come in. Obviously, he had a lot of faith in him as he's been going through September and becoming more of a weapon again, that he could bring him in there into a tough situation in, the middle innings.
When we were talking about Slayton, it was a great thing to see Cora go to him so early, and I'm sure that Justin Slayton was just as shocked as the rest of us to see him one of the first guys out of the pen. But you know what? Kudos to them. They got the job done, and we were able to get the victory here tonight. So it was a great decision in the long run, and it speaks volumes to what we do have in this bullpen. That bullpen could be a weapon here in the postseason.
Yeah, I think the couple things that really shocked me, I think that you can't lose sight of. Matz was nails. He had 1 hit, but it didn't matter. Weiser, an inning and a third, no hits. Kelly looked okay, and then of course Whitlock and Chapman were just absolutely money. I mean, there's just no other way to look at it. But Cora did manage like it was a playoff game, and it for all the crap that I give him throughout the year, one of the things that was really impressive, especially in 2018, was his management of the bullpen.
That was huge for tonight. I don't know why we haven't seen this style of managing from him more often, but that actually proves tonight that when the going gets tough, you're going to see a good decision out of Cora. I'm still kind of stunned on how this was all managed tonight.
Yeah, it really was something because, I mean, the Red Sox looked like they were gonna just kinda go belly up, in this game down 3-0 very early, and then, of course, my best friend, Masataka Yoshida, was 3 for 3 at the time, and, I'm telling you, I called it, I said he was gonna take us to the promised land. When he came up in that ninth inning, Nick, to lead off the inning, I was sitting there saying, if this guy hits a home run, wouldn't that have been a pisser?
It's actually kinda hysterical how this is all turning on right now for Yoshida. I mean, what perfect timing for it to happen. I mean, we were screaming, what, a couple weeks ago? I mean, I was, "Send him back to Japan, DFA him, send him down to Rusney Castilloville." Lo and behold, now we're seeing some production out of him in a spot where you desperately needed it.
Yeah, Alex Cora needs to make sure that Ceddanne Rafaela wearing the green City Connect uniforms has a bat in his hand for the ninth inning. I mean, it's like a soap opera.
The one thing that was obviously the disappointing thing for tonight was the fact that this was on Apple TV, and I'm sure some people wanna talk about that a little bit. Actually listened to the game on the radio. I was old school. I'm not giving Apple my money to go and watch a single game. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it, and, I haven't moved up in the land to what you do, Jim, but it's embarrassing that that game was on Apple TV tonight, so probably a good majority of fans probably didn't get a chance to even, watch the game.
Yeah, Tom Caron had a tweet. I don't know if you
I
saw that a
did.
little earlier
I
tonight,
loved his
and he
tweet.
was
I loved it.
yeah, he made it sound like he was quite disappointed himself, but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it must be a situation where Apple buys these games early in the year or before the season even starts but, either way, I mean, there's gotta be a way for, the home network to be able to come back and broadcast that
It
game.
would
I know they're
be
probably
it would be exactly how ESPN does it at times,
right,
where the weeknight game of some sorts, they black out whatever it is on on their network and then let our local feeds, like a NESN or something, cover the game. That's how it should have
right.
been. So for the fans that didn't get a chance to watch it tonight, I don't blame them for being upset. This wasn't one of those Roku free games to watch. You legit had to pay money to watch this, and I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do that for a single game. I'm just not.
No, not at all. And, just watching the feed now on Ness the post-game show, so a lot of congratulations going on. Breslow's there, him and, what in the world is Sam Kennedy doing there? He's there, some hugs and congratulations going on, Mr. Oh, I thought that was Tom himself, but just a lot of congratulatory things going on. I mean, the bottom line here, it's the first time since 2021 that this team is going to the postseason, and of course we don't know how it's going to be in terms of how long they can go. But I'll tell you what, though, if this is going to be a situation like tonight where you got to rely on your bullpen to win, I think the Red Sox probably have one of the best bullpens in the major leagues right now. Hey, Paulie,
What's up, Nick? What's up, Dr. Jim?
how are you?
My question to you guys, one is this: does either New York or Toronto say we're gonna rest our guys and we're not gonna go back and forth? Because as long as neither team wins or loses, they gotta play this thing out. Do you think one of them plays chicken and says, "Screw it, we'll take the Red Sox"?
That's a really good point, Nick. You want to take that one first? Oh, he's in as a listener. Hold on.
Because
Okay.
that's great for us as long as they have to keep playing. I'm imagining we're gonna have like the AAA squad tomorrow and probably Sunday.
Yeah, I would think so. Nick, I put you back as a co-host. I don't know if you can see it. My personal opinion, I mean, it's obviously one team is going to be the division winner, and the other one is going to be the first wild card teams. I think if I am the Blue Jays or the Yankees, I'm still going to fight for that. But I can't disagree with you because I want them to fight it out. Use their best players. Use all the pitchers that they initially thought that were going to be in the rotation for these next two games, and let them work themselves out. And if I'm Boston, I probably just sit there. I'm going to try for Saturday and Sunday, but I got to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to try to push for that second wild card versus the third. So we'll see how that plays out.
I think the Red Sox are probably just gonna take it easy the next 2 games. I don't think we'll probably not see Giolito and whoever else was scheduled to start. My money's on seeing more guys like a Sogar play or, we'll probably see a little bit more of Nate Eaton, those types of guys. I'd be shocked to see Bregman in the lineup. I think they probably still wanna put Story out there. I think Story's got this whole thing where he's gonna play it all, but I don't expect this to be much of anything the next 2 games after clinching.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see Bregman playing only because of the fact of that quad or hamstring issue that he's had and dealt with all season. You don't want that tighten up on him going into the playoffs. So I have to agree with you there. I actually think I might see Abreu play just to get some at bats. He might DH,
That
but
would
I
be the
think
smart thing to do. They should
yeah,
do that.
I could definitely see. I think you'll see Ref Schneider in the outfield. I think you'll see Eaton in the outfield, but I would really bet my house on Abreu might be a DH because just to get him some more at bats, especially since he didn't have a chance to rehab in the minors from this injury. So that's how I see that playing out.
Would be a
But as
detriment. It would be a detriment if they do decide to give him rest because you need him ready to go. And I don't want to see any of this crap where his bat speed's too behind because he didn't see enough pitching in the month and a half he was off. So they
yeah,
they they need to play him.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, if they want to put him in the outfield, fine. But, I'm comfortable with him DHing the next two nights just to take that off his back and have to worry about that and get him 6 or 8 at bats, against live pitching, against a potential playoff contender for, the next two
Smartest.
games.
That would be the smartest thing if they did that. It would be.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, I would say, Paulie, look for that essentially from the Red Sox, at least, for the next two games.
Here's an interesting
Um,
question. I know the Red Sox have some guys in sequester down in Florida. I don't think that you're going to see any of them even play in the next two games, like your Christian Campbells, your passwords, those types of guys. They were told to kind of stay loose, but I don't see it over two games them coming up. So if anybody was hoping for that, you will be sadly mistaken.
Yeah, there was a report out today. I don't know if you caught it or you got our listeners caught it, but Marcelo Meyer is ahead of schedule, and there's talk of him being available
I did
in
see
the
that.
postseason.
Yeah, I did see
Um,
that. I don't know what I
I,
think
I
of it though.
I don't either. I'm not quite sure. I want to give Marcelo Meyer at bats. I don't know at this point.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't. I wanna go with what is. What we saw from, Meyer is we saw a great glove. I'm not gonna take that away. We were very thrilled about that when he was filling in for Bregman, but overall, I was not very happy with the bat. I think the bat needs more seasoning, and I think we're gonna if we do anything with Marcelo Meyer, it would be for a defensive replacement kind of thing for a
Yep.
glove. If you're banking on him being in the starting lineup and giving you innings and coming in to do whatever work it would be, that's crazy talk.
Well, the other thing is too is that who do you want Mayor replacing on that 26-man roster?
David
I mean,
Hamilton.
you know what? If you're going to tell me that Nate Eaton is going to be your pinch runner, which he was tonight, and you're going to have him over Hamilton, I would say that that's probably a very good possibility. For the most reasoning is because he's right-handed, and you're going to probably need an extra right-handed bat and glove off that bench. So,
I
I
like
mean,
Nate
I don't
Eaton. I
think
don't know about you. I like Nate Eaton. I like his versatility. I like his speed, of course, and I think the bat has some life. I do. I'm
yeah.
excited to see the development of him.
Yeah, you know what? I think you and I are in agreement that he's kind of won us over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He was one of those guys that we were kind of, even I was saying, this guy doesn't even belong on the major league roster. And he's really changed mine. I
He
mean, I'm
changed
happy
my
to take
mind
an
too.
L on
Yep,
that.
he changed
Yeah,
my
I'm
mind.
happy to take an L
I'm
on him.
happy with what I
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Trevor Story talking right now. They're all in the clubhouse, drenching themselves with champagne. And
What do you think of
I'll
that,
tell you
Jim?
what,
Jim, what do you think
what's
about
that?
that? And maybe some of the fans out there will have an opinion on this. Sometimes, and I remember, I think it was the 2017 clinch or 16. Remember when they clinched and they lost at Yankee Stadium, and everybody was like, "Well, why are we doing the champagne toast and all of this stuff?" What do you feel on that? Do you think it's something that should be saved for the World Series or a bigger win? Should they be doing this for, just getting into the wild card round?
So, my personal opinion is that yes, I'm okay with it for a wild card round because it's the celebration of 160 games or
Yep.
158 games. I
David Hamilton, his defense basically is the only question I have with him.
Yeah,
Marcelo Meyer coming in, how effective can he be with his bat sitting out all this time?
yep.
Hitting with runners in scoring position, and the pitchers with not pitching in the strike zone, the walks, man. You got to tighten all that stuff up.
Yeah, no doubt. Just to finish off what I was saying there, Nick, about the celebrations. I think maybe every single round, like, if you win the division series, it gets a little old because then it's the league championship series and then the World Series. But I'm okay with this because it is monumental after a long
I'm
season.
okay with this so long as Breslow and Kennedy and Henry stay away.
Yeah, well, you know
And I
what?
know
Also,
they're
too,
in there. So
ownership and management needs to realize too how difficult this truly is. I think a lot of them really kind of lost their way, and we've talked about this all season. But they've lost their way on how difficult it is to get to this stage and to get to this moment, and that you need to have really good players. You need to spend money on really good players, and you can't skimp in a market like this. And unfortunately, this ownership group took this for granted by just throwing money at players early on in 2003, 2004, all the way up until, 2012. And they lost their way big time. And they really kind of had to change for the better when they got a lot of those guys like Mookie Betts and Xander Bargarts and those guys that came up, and they complimented people like Chris Sale and David Price and bringing in JD Martinez and so forth. I just hope that they're going to learn their lesson again and that this is going to be something that is going to continue on moving forward where they
all I
know that they're
know
going to spend money.
All I know is that they're very lucky. They're
Yeah.
lucky because this second half was mediocre at best, and I don't mean to be cruel with it because we just, got our playoffs and we're in the postseason, but it was mediocre. The trade deadline sucked,
Yep.
completely sucked,
Yep.
and you did lose Roman Anthony. So if they didn't make the playoffs, we would have been hearing all about, oh, well, it's too bad Roman went down and Marcelo went down and, boo hoo to us, cry me a river. It would have been that story that we would have been hearing all off season. So I'm glad that they got to where they're at. And now it's a matter of can you get hot at the right time and do something in the playoffs?
Yeah, a couple developments right now. It looks like in the third inning, Houston and LA are scoreless. Now, the only reason why I'm even bringing that up is because Houston is fighting the Tigers now for a wild card spot. The bottom line here is the Tigers, they have not qualified for a spot yet at 86 and 74, and Houston is 85 and 74. So there is a potential for the two teams to wind up with identical records. So, Nick, I'll ask you, and on anybody else wants to chime in. Who do you want? I mean, again, we're not facing them in a first round potential situation, but in the event that either one of them, advances, who do you want to see get into the playoffs? Do you want the Tigers or the Astros?
Jim, I believe the Astros are eliminated with the win today by the Sox. Doesn't that eliminate them?
I no, I think they could still qualify for the third wild card. I believe because yeah, that's still open as far as I know. Um, because they're currently playing at 85 and 74, so they've got 3 games, so they could still go 86, 87, 88, which would be tied with the Red Sox at 88 right now, and the Tigers still have 2 more. They could still get 88. So just because the Red Sox qualified, it doesn't mean that they're the second or the third yet. You still got to play out Saturday and Sunday to see where exactly they fit into this. If I'm correct on this, you still got Detroit and the Astros are still alive here. Hey, Sean, how are you?
Play Detroit because they are limping into the playoffs, and Houston is kind of treading water. So, I think just that momentum that's carrying Houston in just a little bit, I'll avoid that and I'll take the scuffling, sinking ship that is Detroit.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Houston always still scares me, no matter how you look at it. I know they're not the same Houston Astros that they were in, 5 years ago, but you know what? They still have that pedigree. They still got guys like, out of Framber Valdez. They still got
Jose
Altuve.
Altuve, they got,
Yeah, they,
they have names that have gotten the job done.
yeah, and Altuve's been a Red Sox killer his whole life.
Altuve has been like the most clutch baseball player I've watched over the last 5 years. The moment is the biggest. That little dude gets a fucking hit, sit over the wall like he's insane when the pressure's on.
Yeah, he's a little thorn. He's like a mosquito, I don't want any part of him. I really don't because he always manages to hit a home run against the Red Sox, no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with Altuve. He just has too much of a resume for me. I don't wanna get beat by him. Kinda like when you play the Yankees, you don't wanna be beat by Aaron Judge. Like, know your place, know what you gotta do.
Yeah.
That's what's the, important thing.
The difference there is Judge really has not been a Red Sox killer in his career, but Altuve has been. And so Carlos Correa back with, putting the Superman uniform back on, the Houston Astros uniform, he all of a sudden transfers back into a Red Sox killer too. So I got to agree with Sean on this one. I don't want any part of them. So,
Same boat.
Yeah, the Astros, out of all the teams that could possibly make the playoffs, scare me the most. I'm not the rest of the records, as far as matchups with playoff contenders, the Red Sox have pretty much had everybody's number.
yeah, I mean, look, we lost that last game against, Toronto, but Toronto looks like they're a little bit weaker than they were earlier in the year. They really, it's funny, their lineup really doesn't scare me. I mean, if you can neutralize Springer and you can neutralize Vladdy,
Yep.
I mean, I know Varsho had that grand slam. He doesn't really scare you on a
Was
daily
that was a
basis.
garbage time grand slam, right? We were up 7-1 or something, 7-0. What was the score?
I think it was
Yeah,
7-1. I think it was
I think
7
it
That
one.
was
was
the ninth inning grand slam, I believe, and then Willier threw out Kirk at first base on the infi on a
Yep. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep, absolutely. So, and I think we match up really good against the Yankees. I mean, I know we've had their number all year, and I know anything can happen, but again, the Yankees, don't give Judge anything to hit, and, obviously don't make a mistake to Stanton. I mean, I would keep everything away and off speed to him. I wouldn't give him any meatball down the middle because you just speed up his bat if he knows the fastball's coming. And other than that, I mean, do the Yankees really scare anybody? I mean, they don't scare me.
No, I would say the Yankees don't scare me as of right now, except for, like, your Judges. You just gotta know your place with them. Don't let their big thumpers beat you, and
Yeah.
I feel like if you set yourself up right, you could win that series.
the game
And we
planning. It,
we
it, it
we
all
already
it's all
have
going to come down to that.
we already have the upper hand against the Yankees this season, so,
And don't forget, too, we got a lot of left-handers on this staff. So, I mean, they can neutralize Cody Bellinger pretty good, too,
yes.
because he's really the only other guy there that really had an all-star type season, and I kind of figured he would. So he's been good for them. I mean, the rest of them, Trent Grisham, he's 34 home runs, but I mean, he's a hit it or not make it type guy. Schmidt, his better days are behind him. Ben Rice, he kind of bothers me. And Jazz always is a pain in the ass, but I think you can neutralize him too. I just worry about him getting on and stealing because there's really no other speed on that lineup.
And then, any other teams, Jim, that you might say scare you a little bit?
In the American League, as we go through, I think honestly, I think the toughest team in the American League are the Mariners. I really do. They've got the pitching and they've got the offense. So they're the team that I really would not want any part of unless I get to that stage in the playoffs and I have to play them. Because again, Julio Rodriguez hitting 32 home runs. You've got obviously Cal Raleigh with 60. Polanco's got 25. But you know what? They got Brian Wu and they've got Castillo and George Kirby and Gilbert in that rotation. I mean that foursome is as good as probably anybody in baseball, maybe the Dodgers, maybe the Phillies, and frankly,
I don't think the Red Sox could beat them. Not in a long series.
I would be hard pressed to think they could. Again, I rule out nothing. Anything can happen. You know, if you look at the two teams on paper, Seattle is the much more dominant team. But again, it's a team that's won nothing. And I know everybody can say, this Red Sox team hasn't won anything either. But, we still have guys like Bregman. We still have Alex Cora. And you know what? For all the shit I give Alex Cora, this is the time of the year that Alex Cora could be the decision make, the kind of like the tipping the scales in your favor because The rest of the league, I mean, obviously Detroit's got, what's his face there, their manager, and he's been to the playoffs and World Series. This is a time where I think Alex Cora can trump John Schneider. He can trump Aaron Boone. He can trump whoever the manager is for the Mariners. I can't think of him right now. So I think that's where you have the advantage in Alex Cora.
So you
Well, you
got
saw
you got
tonight. I
cash
mean, you
on the
saw
dime
tonight some
too.
great options with him. I mean, Cora finally managed like it was a playoff game tonight. That was big to see.
Yeah, Don, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just saying, Cora can lean on Tech too, man. Tech's been in a lot of playoff series. He's been around the block. He's out there in the bullpen working with the catchers and the pitch, working on the pitching game coordination and
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I've never, even as a player, I know people are gonna bitch and moan. I've never was a Tech fan. I
no,
don't know.
that's all
I just,
right, man. Yeah,
I just, for a guy that's so good, I think he should be doing more with Connor Wong and Navarez. I mean, you
absolutely, absolutely.
you
I
look at this
agree.
you look at this season with how many catchers interference Navarre's had. It's like, what is Tech doing? I mean, there should be a little bit more, but I agree with you from a
Fan,
standpoint of preparation. From a standpoint of preparation, I'll give Tech all the credit in the world. His preparation is going to be much better than a lot of the other teams that you're going to face.
I'm not the biggest fan of Tech as a manager or in-game coordinator. I think that's what his role is. Quite frankly, I've been more so disappointed in the past couple seasons here with it. I also find it interesting that his wife, Catherine Veritek, was tweeting out some things about the contract situation and the future of Tech upcoming. This may be it for Tech. He may be
uh,
heading out. He may be heading
yeah,
out
he might be getting a
because he's
shot
not gonna
at
get I
managing a
don't think he's
club
gonna get the
somewhere.
managerial spot here. I think the Red Sox and Henry and ownership really like Cora, and I think
Yeah.
that obviously with Cora's extension, it's gonna be very hard pressed for, Tech to get an opportunity. So
Well,
it may mean he needs to go somewhere else to kinda learn the ropes and do it. Who knows? Maybe he comes back. So we've seen that happen before. So maybe that is a situation that comes up in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, as far as Alex Cora is concerned, the fact that they made the playoffs now, and the fact is that no matter how far they go, Alex Cora's job is not in jeopardy. He will be returning next year as the manager, unless for some reason he wants out. That's the only
I have a
difference.
question. Do you guys look at this season as somewhat of a win for the organization moving forward?
It's too early for me to tell right now.
Right?
And the reason I say that for myself is you kind of expected with the roster that was assembled and the pieces that they went out and got, your Bregmans, your Crochet with the big trade, Chapman coming in. You expected this to be coming into a playoff run here. And then,
Nobody
the big
expected that this year.
the
What are
big
you talking about?
no, of course they expected that.
Nobody thought this was a playoff team in the beginning of the year.
When
What are you
you
talking about?
when you
Vegas
traded
had him winning the
You had
series.
some horrible takes today. Your take was how Veritek did with Navarro? That's what you're thinking about right now?
I
This
never said
team
anything
came
like
out of
that.
nowhere to win, are in the playoffs.
They were favored by Vegas
Come
to
on,
win the
man.
division.
Back to Don's
Well,
question. Getting back to Don's question, I do have some concerns moving forward for 2026, and it's because the Red Sox have a lot of roster situations that they have to answer. You don't know what's going. I mean, if you look position by position, you could arguably say there's questions everywhere. Let's start at first base. Tristan Casas going to be your first baseman. Is he going to recover from his injury and be a guy that we've been waiting for all these years? Who is going to be your second baseman? Is it going to be someone like Marcelo Mayer? Is it going to be Romy Gonzalez? Who's starting there? Will Trevor Story opt out? Will Bregman opt out? Is this the time to trade Duran? Is Willie Abreu a guy that you need to trade now because you have Roman Anthony? So I think they've got a lot of questions. You're also going to lose guys like Giolito. And then the other questions is that are the Red Sox ready to, give the keys to guys like Connolly early, Tolley, or are these guys just here because they were in trouble because they made bad decisions with guys like what's his face there, Dustin May, And of course, obviously Walker Bueller, that they were kind of backed into a corner. And are those guys going to need more seasoning in AAA? So they do have some questions going into 2026. They really do.
I'm just kind of surprised at the gentleman that spoke before saying that going into this season, the roster that you assembled, the organization was hopeful they were going to make the playoffs, and you
Oh,
flat
there's no
out stunk.
question.
You flat
Yeah,
out
there's no
stunk.
question.
So I don't know where that even came from that guy.
Yeah, there were a lot of people clamoring that this was guaranteed to be a playoff team, and they were a 95 win team.
And I was one of the ones that said, "Put your brakes on. No way that's happening." So I don't know. I don't know how much that guy had tonight, but that was definitely not my take.
No, no, he just left, so he was there just to be a troll. So, but getting to look at a little bit more, and I think this was Don's question, just to finish it off. The other thing that you have to look at is that they are an 88 win team right now, right?
Sure.
So when you look at last year, and to Nick's point, you brought in Garrett Crochet, you had a healthy Lucas Giolito, you brought in Walker Bueller, Roldis Chapman, Alex Bregman, and so forth. You've only increased by 7 wins. That's
That's
not
not
a
good
lot.
enough. That's not good enough.
No,
I'm
you went
sorry, it's not.
yeah, you went from 81 to 88. Now again, we got 2 more games left. Who knows? But you get my point. When you add those kind of players to what your core roster was supposed to be, that's not good enough. And the other thing about this too, which I find very interesting, the Boston Red Sox, they had 8 different rookies make their debut this season. 8, including Narvaez, which a lot of people forget. He's a rookie too. So, that's a lot of moving parts when you think of a team that was championship driven or playoff driven. If you went back
A lot of
into
rookies getting at bats and playing time
yeah, and I
in
don't
positions you didn't expect it to happen. And then
yeah,
we get dealt the blow of Cassis. We think Cassis, all right, this is gonna be the year for Cassis. We're all hyped up. And then this whole thing in spring training with Devers being selfish, right?
yep.
Throws a whole shadow over the organization the first part of the year. And it's not until the trade, they make the trade with Devers that
I mean, you look at this team right now and you look at what that lineup was tonight and you think of back in March, and would you be saying to yourself that you've got guys like David Hamilton, Nate Eaton, Nick Sogard on your team, Nathaniel Lowe, Connor Wong would not have a home run all season, and be a backup catcher after the season he had last year. Romy Gonzalez is going to be your starting second baseman. So it's been a roller coaster of a season, but when you stop and think and say, Garrett Crochet has 18 wins on the season and Aroldis Chapman has 32 saves and at one point didn't give up a hit for like 50 innings. And you tell me that the team is only 7 games better than last year. It's a surprise. It really is.
Vegas had him at the beginning of the season at 87 wins over under with the Red Sox. Had him finishing third. They had actually Baltimore finishing second, and they had the Yankees winning the division.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming if they predicted they was going to win 87, Vegas had them as a playoff team because you're not going to miss the playoffs at 87 wins preseason. I don't think they had them before the season
Yep.
at 87 and missing the playoffs. I don't know who thought that they weren't going to be good, but Vegas is the end all be all, and they had them at 87 wins over under.
Yep. Yep. And looks like Cleveland lost too. So your updated standings here. Toronto and the Yankees still tied at 92 wins. And Cleveland and Detroit tied at 86 wins. These next 2 games against the Red Sox are important for the Tigers. And of course, the Toronto facing the excuse me, the Rays, and New York facing the Orioles. You got some crunch time there. I mean, we still don't know who we're going to play. We might find out. We might figure that out tomorrow, depending on the outcome of the game. But this could go all the way to Sunday before we know who we're facing.
we'll just get our guys rested, get them some good at bats, get some of those guys that might come in and play a situational baseball in the playoffs, get them going. Who scored the winning run tonight? Nick Eaton?
Actually, who did score that because they were on first? Yeah,
Was
was it
Romy
was it
Gonzalez.
Romy?
Yeah, it was Romy.
Was it Romy?
Romy got a hit, and then
No, Sadan
Sadan.
Sadan had the hit off the
That's what I'm
wall.
saying. Romy got on. He didn't get walked. He got on with a base hit, and then Sadan got a triple.
Yes, Gonzalez scored. Yep, 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 yep. You're right. Yep, completely even forgot who it was because I was thinking the 8th inning when Eaton was pinch running and then stole second, got the third. So yeah, I mean, you're still having some issues there. Get Sean back on. Got some more requests. Yes. Sorry about that. Sounds like looks like
No,
Twitter's
no
having some
worries.
issues tonight. Yeah, Twitter's having some issues tonight, guys. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's been cutting out on me. I couldn't figure it
Yep.
out at first, but it's pretty cool that this going that you guys can do this stuff.
Hey, Jim, you know what? Another thing that I do like is that we're not winning the division by 20 games. We aren't going to be coasting in. We're not going to be sitting the whole team for 2 weeks just waiting for the playoffs to start. We're still grinding for position. We still want to go in swinging. And that sometimes that giving the guys a bunch of time off just never works out for the teams like that. So I really do like how we're still just scuffling for position right now.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. When you think of like, 2007 when the Rockies went on that crazy run, and then they were stagnant for like a week. That came back to bite them in the ass too. So, I mean, yeah, it's you got to keep guys fresh, but I'm just of the point that they'll probably rest some of the guys these next 2 days. If I think it's gonna be like if they win, they win. If not, they're just gonna be happy enough to qualify and they're not going to care whether it's going to be going to Toronto or going to New York because as the position that they're in, there's no way that they can win more than the Yankees or Toronto. So they're guaranteed to be a visiting team no matter which way. They're not going to have home team advantage anywhere in the playoffs. So that being said, they're either going to Toronto or they're going to New York.
Hey, Jim, do you think they're going to shrink their rotation down to 4 starters?
Well, obviously in the wild card round, that's gonna be 3 games, so they won't need a 4th starter for that, so I would think that either it's gonna be Early or Tolley or somebody like that's gonna be in the bullpen for sure, and then let's see, the division series, Nick, that's 5 games, right?
Yep.
In the division series?
Division series would be 5. I go obviously Crochet. You could toss a coin right now on Giolito versus Bayo. Giolito looks more gassed, obviously, than Bayo, but I think I take experience over Bayo. So I think I'd still go Giolito 2 and then Bayo 3.
But Nick, now the division series of 5 games, is that 2?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, so I don't know, Don, if there's a built-in off day there, because if there is, then there's a possibility again that you won't need your 4th starter in that division series either. So you probably won't need a 4th starter until the league championship series.
They're probably going to be relying on like we saw tonight. I mean, Slayton came in the 4th inning. You could see something like this happen with the Giolito start or a Bayo start. They're gonna stretch it, obviously, of course, with Crochet, but it's gonna
Well,
be.
Bayo's ERA in September is 5.4 right now. So he's not lighting the world on fire. He's
No,
5.4 in September.
I think he's. I think
Yeah,
he's.
yeah.
I think he's done. But you gotta see what you get. So hopefully the bullpen's ready to go.
Well, I think that the issue with that too is that Alex Cora is going to manage that rotation and that bullpen. And you normally do in the playoffs completely different. So there may be a situation where Bale's only gonna Bale may start, but Alex Cora may have in his mind he's getting 3 innings and that's it. And then he's going to, I don't know, could be Slayton again for 2. It could be Whitlock. I mean, you never know where it could go. The game will dictate it, but it's a completely different thing. So unless he's throwing a gem and you're in the 4th or 5th innings, it's very possible that you could see 3 inning stints from 1 or 2 of these starters going forward. And not only that, but also depending on the score. If God forbid you're up high, he may want to take them out after 3 innings, keep them fresh, and put them in the bullpen for another game down later in the series. Kind of like he did in 2018 with Chris Sale, bringing him out of the bullpen there. So,
Well, there's tons of
um,
concerns with the starting pitching. I mean, Bayo and Crochet. Crochet has never pitched as many innings, even anywhere close. So he's at
correct.
like 200 innings right now. He's never done anything of the sort. And Bayo is struggling down the stretch. If those two guys don't pitch good, you have zero chance to win.
Oh, you're absolutely 100%
And
right.
also, they've gotten so much from their closer, who is old. I mean, there's so many unknowns right now. I don't think this team's going to win a championship, but you have to look at the season and say, what a success. I mean, unbelievable year. You really have to. I know the predictions were high, kind of, but I never thought this team was going to I honestly didn't think they'd make the playoffs. So I was excited that they did.
No, I mean, if you looked at the way they started out in April and May, I mean, they were booting the ball around. I mean, it looked like a shit show for the better part of the first 6 weeks, I think. they look like a team that was going to finish last. And I'm on record. I said that this team was going to have 78 wins. I had no positivity for this team at all back coming out of camp and in early April and part of May because I had very little faith. I mean, raise your hand if you thought Trevor Story would be the MVP offensively on this team. I don't think it was on anybody's
Raise your hand if you thought
bingo
Devin
card.
was gonna
Nobody
win.
ever would have expected
Fuck
that.
nuts.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, Kane, if you came to me at the beginning of the year and said, "Listen, you're going to trade Devers, you have no Tristan Casas, Roman Anthony is going to come up and get hurt,
It's a
and you're going to have
miracle. It's a miracle.
and you're going to have 8 rookies make their debut for this team in 2025, and they're going to make the playoffs." I'd have said you're crazy. Yeah.
And the highest batting average on the team was going to be Romy Gonzalez
Yeah.
Yeah.
at
Exactly.
310.
I mean, Whitlock's been lights out. I mean, what a
Hey,
Oh,
Jim, as far as the schedule
Not
goes,
taking anything
they,
from
uh,
Romy. Not taking anything from Romy. I love Romy.
And Kane, the other thing, then you would also tell me that, Aroldis Chapman is going to not give up a hit for 50 innings and save 32 games
Yeah.
with an ERA around 1. I'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah,
That
like
guy
we've
couldn't
never
find the
seen
plate for
we've never
years.
seen that before in
it was
Boston at all.
2000
So yeah,
2013 again.
Pop was never that
So we
good.
big on
Yeah.
Koji.
No,
Koji,
I love
Koji,
Pap.
Koji.
Pap was awesome, but I've never seen that.
Yeah, no one's ever seen it.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
man.
everybody plays game 1, a divisional series on the 4th. Then they're splitting game 2 between the 5th and the 6th. And they're splitting game 3 between the 7th and the 8th, and then everybody plays game 4 on the same day. So there's a little built-in travel time there, I think, or rest period.
So we play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right, Sean?
I mean, awesome series.
But I mean, I think it just depends.
Okay.
It's just they're just empty slots waiting to get filled. So, like I say, the 4th, everybody plays on the 4th, but only a couple of games on the 5th, and then a couple of games on the 6th, but not a full
I think
slate.
we can all agree there's nothing better than playoff baseball.
No,
Playoff baseball,
Hell
it
yeah!
started
Greatest
already,
game.
fellas. It started
That's what you
already.
watch all year for.
any game, anywhere.
It's what you watch all year for.
Jim, we've been talking for like the last 6 years. I mean, we've been waiting a long time for this, so I'm pretty
yeah.
excited. We're finally in the postseason again, brother.
Hey, dirty water,
Absolutely.
fellas.
This is why you watch 162, boys, because this is what it's all about now.
And you guys are living the life up there in Beantown. I'm down here in Tampa. I have to do it long distance.
Hold on, going to Rays games that's a really nice experience.
Well, not this year. It
Live it
wasn't at that
out.
Triple
Live
A
it out.
stadium, Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah, you gotta put bug spray on when you enter anything with New York on it.
It looks like the dome's going to be ready for opening day 2026. Looks like they're working
No.
pretty hard on it. No, it's not.
There we go.
Oh, I heard a
No, I said,
Oh,
yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think they'll be back there. And I don't even know if we'll even see them get the new ball.
Yeah, I think they'll fix that dome. They've got some duct tape and gauze to fix that thing.
A little flaw, whatever will make it work over there.
Houston up 3-1 in the 5th, so it's obviously looking good for them. Anything else? I think that's pretty much the majority of tonight's scoreboard that even matters at this point. Mariners are losing 2-1 to the Dodgers in the 4th, so that's an interesting
Is
development
Texas out of
there.
it?
It's a crazy collapse with Detroit, huh? My God.
Yeah. So the Rangers beat the Guardians 7-3, so that's a final.
Hanging on
Yes.
by a thread.
So yeah, to Don's point earlier, we just got to hope Toronto and New York beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Well, not them, but just to continue to play hard. The Jays against the Rays and Yankees against the Orioles.
Yeah,
So they could be beat up by Tuesday. So maybe we can get a little bit of an upper hand there. Josh, what's up?
What's going on?
How are you, my
Back in
friend?
playoffs. Doing well,
Yeah.
doing well.
Yep. First time since 21. It's about time.
It's been a while, 4 years. I said I think 93 at the start of the year, but I mean, with all that happened, I mean, 88 in the playoffs, I'll take that all day long. Devers traded.
14 errors.
Yeah, I mean, you got Romy playing second and he's playing well. I mean, I never would have thought any of this stuff.
So the question I have to everybody-
Gold Glover.
The question I have to everybody out there that's listening, chime in. I'm happy to talk to you. Were the Red Sox a good team, or was the American League very, very poor?
I think the Red Sox were decent, but I think the American League was pretty poor. I mean, I didn't think this was a playoff team a couple weeks ago, but they just, battled it out.
The American
Yep.
League is very poor. We're fortunate that we're here. We're fortunate.
Oh, yeah.
We should be
I mean,
very
no
happy.
Roman, no Marcelo. He's still here somehow. I mean, yeah.
Given the amount of injuries that we have, I think the team is really strapped. And as we talked about earlier a couple of months ago, it was almost like we were hitting our heads against a brick wall, Jim, because we've talked about the defense and about Cora and about how this team goes about its daily business, and we were just so discouraged. But here we are, So I kind of think they're a team of fighters.
Yep.
I didn't expect this amount of wins. I was a little more pessimistic as the season started, but you know, sometimes you just have it. Sometimes you just scratch out the games you need to scratch out. And so it's kind of good to see that they've done that. So congratulations to the team.
I think the one thing to wrap up about what this 2025 Red Sox team is, they've got I don't even want to call it both, but grit and heart. Like yeah, they're either too stupid to give up. I don't know what it is, and I say that with all the love and respect. It's just like they just I don't know if it's just because everybody's young and there's not a lot of veterans that, kind of like take the back seat and are lackadaisical, but good for them. I mean, they don't give up. They haven't given up all year. They've really tried and they make a game of it. I mean, look at 12 walk-off wins
Most
in
in baseball.
2025.
Most in
It's
baseball.
crazy.
So I know we're
Yeah.
hard on them, but they're probably just as hard on themselves, if not harder, with the way they perform. And I know they wanna win for the organization, for the fan base and everything. But we just have to keep pushing forward with positivity. I know Breslow's a pain in the ass sometimes, but I think he's really like brain from Pinky in the Brain. He's got something.
Anthony, first time we can celebrate together a little bit.
What's going on, everybody?
How are you?
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
Well, so
What's up,
what's
man?
going on, everybody? How you doing? Yeah, no, it's good. Well, of course, we're happy, right? It was a good season, but like, I'm sorry, my expectation was for this team to be competing for the World Series this year, and it's my take is the same as it's been all year.
I
I think the
mean,
Red Sox are the best. I think the Red Sox are the best team in the American League. I think they've been the best team in the American League. I think the only team you can even consider on the same level going into the playoffs as the Red Sox is the Seattle Mariners. That's it. I think those are the 2 best teams. I think that should be the ALCS. And the bottom line is the Red Sox underachieved early in the season. The Devers black cloud was over the team until finally Sheriff John Henry, actually fucking did something nobody else did. Alex Cora was over the situation. Alex Cora checked out. He said, "I'm done with it." Craig Breslow, he got humiliated publicly. He couldn't do anything. John Henry finally actually showed us that he had a pulse. Now, on the other hand, I just want to say, but that's basically my take. But the thing is, actually, is I'm fair, so I give John Henry credit on that. Tonight, the fact that the game was on Apple TV, people are subscribing $30 a month plus. People are paying on cable for Nesson, and we can't watch the fucking game, the walk-off fucking clinching game. It's a fucking disgrace, and John Henry should be ashamed of himself. He better look, dude, the fucking Blue Jays were streaming that shit.
Yeah,
They were streaming their thing on Apple TV. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah, we were talking about that before you came on, how disgusting it was for that to be on Apple TV. And I don't know if you caught the tweet, but Tom Karen did talk about that earlier. He did have a tweet out, and he says, we really wanted it on Nesson, and it was kind of like
Well, but Jim, but
tongue in
Jim, but
cheek.
Jim, but Jim, but Jim, don't you know baseball games are expensive,
Yeah,
right?
What we said at the beginning was that what they should have done is exactly how ESPN does it during the weekdays, where they allow the local feed to be able to carry the game, and then they
And you
take on
have
the
the
national
national
route.
one.
Yeah, and then they take on the national route. Why that?
Yeah.
Guys, of course,
That's the
that's what Robert
logical.
Kraft did.
That's
Robert Kraft did that for the Patriots, bro. He said, "We're not gonna have the fucking Patriots games on NFL Network exclusively." Fuck that, dude. That's a fuck you to the fans, because that's exactly what tonight was, a big fuck you to the fans. After everything they've put us through for the last fucking 4 or 5 years, it was a big fuck you, and all I can say to them is fuck you. So it's a bittersweet feeling because you hate ownership, but you love this team. You love the players who fought all season, and you know what the difference was this year, guys? It was Chapman and it was Crochet. That was
Yeah.
the difference that got us over the finish line finally.
Whitlock
Whitlock too.
and Whitlock.
Whitlock too, brother.
And of course, Whitlock.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Is it just kind of surprising? Whitlock was in the bullpen in 2021. We went to the playoffs. He's in the bullpen again 2025, and we're going to the playoffs. He is a weapon in that eighth inning that we haven't seen since I don't know.
I think one of the best
Yeah.
things of this
Kojima, bro.
season that we can all probably agree on here is that Whitlock finally We found his role, he found his place, we got him back on track. To me, that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest takeaways of this season.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. And I think we've been clamoring for the last what 2, 3 years now, 3 years that he should have been in the bullpen and stayed in the bullpen. But of course, the Red Sox have to get in their own way because it's all about he signed a team friendly deal and they wanted to maximize value instead of actually putting him in the best position to be effective.
That was one of the most frustrating things to have to see him just tailspin with getting hurt and injured because everybody knew it that he was perfect for the bullpen, should have stayed in his role, and they got stubborn and Daniel bartered him.
Yep, that's exactly
You
what
want me to
happened.
tell you what I think the downfall of this team's gonna be?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people probably think it's gonna be the offense. I don't think so. Here's the thing, real quick, Sataki Yoshida, the last 2 years, he's had extended hot streaks in the middle of the season, up to half a season. In 2023, I believe it was 75 games. It's from like 420 to like 725. That's just off the top of my head, but you can check it out. He was one of the best hitters in baseball. This is his mid-season right now. Who's to say this guy can't get on one of those fucking heaters? But what I think the downfall of this team's gonna be, I think it's gonna be the combination of Alex Cora burning through the bullpen like a pack of fucking camels like he always does, and wearing the bullpen out,
Bears.
combined with the fact that we don't have enough arms down there ultimately. So in other words, he's gonna be pulling starting pitchers like Bayo and Giolito and Early. He's gonna pull them in like the 4th, 5th inning, and we're gonna have to rely on like Greg Weissert and guys and fucking
So
Justin Wilson to
what
get us
And you
through
know
to
what
the
what's
end of the
kinda
causes a
bullpen. That's
pitcher to
gonna be the
get pulled
down.
at the 4th or 5th inning? It's pitch count, right? With the pitch count being where you locating your balls
Who
in
the
the
fuck is this
zone,
guy?
or is your
Seriously, who the fuck is that guy? But yeah, that's the downfall.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I take nothing away from Yoshida, what he's doing right now. It's just really the way that their offense has been all year. It's been so streaky that, you don't know which version of that offense you're going to get. Their biggest problem all year has been their lack of converting runners in scoring position.
thank you.
I mean, it's been how many games have you seen, not only just once in a game, but multiple times in a game where they've had bases loaded, no outs, one out, and they just can't convert any of those runs. And so this is where, and again, most of you guys know I am not an Alex Cora fan, but come the playoffs, I change a little bit because he does have a sense of probably a little bit of a better opportunity than some of the other managers that are out there that are in the playoffs. And my feeling is that he can harness a little bit more and he has to play with a more sense of urgency that he doesn't do during the regular 162. And Nick and I brought that up earlier today. Bringing Slayton in early like that was some sort of sense of urgency, and he needs to put the foot on the gas for the entire postseason.
you know what's kinda
Yeah,
crazy with, you know how, like, when Cora used
It's
Bueller's been
awesome.
rolling for Philly right now.
like, was there did we have to cut him? I mean, I know he didn't deserve to be in the
He
rotation, but we
didn't
coulda
want to
that
be
that
here
dude, there
with
was a huge
Bailey.
problem.
He
Yeah, there
didn't
was a
like
huge
Bailey.
problem.
That was the problem. He didn't like
yeah,
Bailey.
that
They
There was a
weren't
you
huge
they
gotta
weren't on the
yeah, there
same
Bailey
was a
pissed
page.
me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but Bueller actually went outside of the organization during the All-Star break.
And
So
that ended
basically,
it.
yeah, I mean, they basically did not see eye to eye the whole time. And the
Nope.
bottom line is, of course, the thing is, they tried to get rid of him there was incentives with contract and stuff like that. And they tried to get rid of him during the the trade deadline, and Minnesota teams were refusing to take him because the Red Sox, wanted them to take Bueller in the whole contract. They were just trying to shed money and
Right.
avoid paying incentives, and they had this huge disagreement, philosophy wise, and it was public too. It was public. They were coming out public. Alex Cora had comments. Fucking the front office had comments. Bueller had comments. That was a fucking toxic situation. It just for some reason, Red Sox fans just don't fucking know how to pay attention. I don't know if they just don't pay attention. It's right in front of your face. All the information's there. You just have to pay attention, and you're gonna know everything. But people don't like to pay attention, and I listen to Alex Cora or watch his post game every night. Basically, I mean, and that you're gonna get a lot of information from that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the thing of it is, though, going back to it, and they did give him one bullpen opportunity, to come in, and he kind of shit the bed in that, and then they were done with him. And I mean, look, it's not a surprise that pitchers leave this organization, hook on with another team, and then all of a sudden, have some kind of resurrection. I mean, look at what Ryan Brazier did, in L.A. when the Red Sox finally let jettisoned him out of the town. Well, I mean, it
But
it ha
Jim, look at least you got to look at the flip side though, because look at what we did this year with Crochet and Chapman. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? I mean, at least we got a little bit back in our own direction this year. You know what I mean?
yeah. I just wish they did better with guys like, um, oh God,
Dustin May.
well, him and what's his face? Oh, I can't think of his name now. Jordan Hicks.
Oh my
Oh
god.
God,
The problem is you couldn't have traded for those guys.
the
Those guys
arsonist.
suck.
The arsonist, exactly.
Those guys suck.
You know what it was too, and you know what the problem with the Jordan Hicks was? He was too much pressure on him to come in and perform. What they should have done was said, you know what? We moved Devers. Let's go out and acquire some relief pitching, so that way they could have taken the whole thing. Hicks was injured. He was on the D. They had to ramp him up. They kind of rushed him back, and it just never was right with him. So the bottom line was they did it. My biggest problem with this team in terms of the front office is just not acquiring more fucking pitching.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, guys,
yeah,
we need a little bit more pitching. We don't need that much. We just need like 1 or 2 more
yeah,
DHs.
I mean,
yeah.
for
I
a
mean,
fact, we didn't get
Why
a
are we
number
cheaping
2
out at the last
starter.
second? Like,
Steven, like even Nick said, Steven Matz, he's okay. But I mean, he wasn't some kind of big upgrade. And Dustin May was just because Brezzo had a save face for losing out on Joe Ryan. That's really what it amounts to. And as far as Jordan Hicks, I think the thing that irritates me more than the fact that we kind of knew he was going to suck coming in here is the fact that the Red Sox are taking on that whole contract. That's what really sucks in this whole scenario.
Yeah, the fact that the Hicks thing's really stupid because we knew he would suck and the contract. The May one pisses me off more though because you gave up Tibbs to get him just to save face. Like, what a terrible deal. The fact we didn't get a number 2 starter is the downfall this season because
Correct.
Giolito's
Tibbs has
cooked.
been garbage. Tibbs was garbage for the Red Sox. I don't
Yeah,
think he was a
to
great fit
but
here.
for
And the thing is,
May,
Dustin May, listen, hold up real quick on Dustin May. It's real revisionist history because 2 or 3 years ago, everybody in here was saying, oh, the Red Sox should have got Dustin May for
in
Mookie
the
Betts.
best
How do you
deal,
not
yeah.
make that trade?
But,
It's revisionist history. This guy was filthy before he had Tommy John. And I actually had high hopes for him. He pitched 1 or 2 good
yeah,
games
but
for us. I think he has potential. The problem was, fine, give me Dustin May and Steven Matz. I still need more. You should have gone
put
out
Joe
and
Ryan
got
on
like a
top of
really good relief pitcher.
or a starter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there weren't a lot of starters that went. And look, would you want to trade Connolly early for Merrill Kelly? Sure as hell wouldn't.
No,
No.
So
absolutely
I'm
not.
glad they didn't make that
No.
trade.
But you know
I
what?
The
love
prices
Connolly.
were high.
By the
There
way, I love Connolly early. I love this
there's
guy.
there's
I
guys
would
out
trade
there like,
Macaulay. I would trade Macaulay.
where were the Red Sox in the Mason Miller deal? Why couldn't they have found common ground there? Just a lot of other
Jim,
options for.
common ground. Say, you know what? This guy's available. Are you serious? Mason Miller's available.
Yep.
I'm going to get him.
Yeah,
That's what a GM who has a killer instinct
that,
says. You know what?
and
He's available. I'm getting
yep.
him.
And that's what
There is
and that's
no killer instinct with Red
yeah,
Sox
and that's what
fans. There's no killer
and
Yeah,
if
instinct.
he can
Dombrowski
hold himself into the starters and didn't look at relievers.
yep, and if Dombrowski was here, he would have gotten a guy like Miller, guaranteed.
That's my biggest gripe is because we've come this
It's Dombrowski. Oh,
dude, it's been a
Yeah.
great season, guy. It's been a great season, but I think we all know ultimately we just aren't going to have enough pitching. It's just going to come up a little bit short, and that's the disappointing thing. I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they can go to the ALCS and probably the World Series, but ultimately we'll see. I just think it's the lack of pitching, and you
Yeah.
just didn't take that little extra step. It's like, bro, just you're there. You're spending 240. Spend 250 for crying out loud.
Right.
Just go a little further.
We
Just
were yeah.
trade the other fucking prospect. The password or fucking who's the other guy?
Arias.
Arias.
We were
Arias.
just
Listen,
we were just a
trade
start
those.
short. That's
Oh
all.
God, one more arm. One more arm. I think we could have gone all the way this year. Like
And
all the way to fucking the parade.
Yep.
yeah, one more starter, than a few more relievers in the bullpen. That's why I brought up Bueller. Not that we should have kept him. I'm just saying, like, a guy or 2 like that in the pen,
You
and
needed
then a
Joe Ryan.
starter would
You needed
perfect.
you needed Joe Ryan, Josh. That's who you needed. That was the guy.
Yeah.
Because
You needed
I
Joe
know that
Ryan.
I know they were talking about Alcantara a few times and so forth, but that was the guy you needed. You needed to get him.
Yep. Yep, you needed him. That was the end of the World Series winning hopes right there. I mean, we could still, go crazy and maybe do it, but I mean, it's probably not gonna happen.
But guys, the thing is, you had Early and Tolley. You had Early and Tolley and Dustin May and you only need 4 starters anyway. So the bottom up, yes, we want a starter. All I'm trying to say is I think nobody got a great starter at the deadline, right?
No,
Nobody. Joe Ryan didn't get traded. I don't want to trade. Like I said, I don't want to trade Connolly early for Merrill Kelly. I think that was a
no,
win for the Red Sox not doing that. Because that would
no.
have been a really horrible trade for us.
That would have been
Connolly early.
terrible.
I love Connolly early. So here's the thing. I'm talking about a bullpen arm, guys. I'm talking about like a sixth,
But
seventh
Anthony,
inning, sixth, seventh inning guy. We couldn't go out and get a good setup guy at the fucking deadline. Are you serious? We're the Boston Red Sox.
Right.
well, we pigeonholed ourselves into a starter, but would you have given up more? I mean, early and Tully for Orion?
With 2 years of control, if I could sign him, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Well,
you just had to get that deal done. You couldn't get it done.
I don't know. I see. You have to tell me the exact deal before I mean, do I want to give up 2 guys for 2 young pitchers for 1 guy? I guess.
Breslow
I
obviously
just
didn't
think.
want to do that.
But
I mean,
guys,
it's
don't
too
you
much.
think the bullpen would still be a problem with or without Joe Ryan?
Yes.
That's
The
what I'm
bullpen would be a
saying. The
problem,
bullpen's a
but
problem regardless. You see what I'm saying? The thing is,
Well,
we
but
should have had a
Cora
the
could've
other
used
thing,
Cora.
Amp, the other thing at that time, just remember, we did not have Justin Slayton back. And we didn't know where that was going to be. Now that he's back and he looks like he's effective again, he could still be that weapon out of the bullpen that we missed all summer.
Yeah, but that still only gets you at the most 9 outs. So
Mhm.
fine. What I'm telling you is there's a gap in between those
I,
guys
I'm not
and the start.
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you, but
And
what
you're
I
gonna be relying on Steven Matz, which is fine. He's a fine second guy to add, extra lefty. I'm not a problem with that. But you're gonna be relying on Matz and Wilson and fucking Weissert
what has to happen,
to
Amp.
get you to that to bridge the gap.
Yeah,
That's why I brought up
what has to
Just fill
happen
that
is
gap.
Wouldn't you rather have Dave Robertson or something? Give me
they should. Yeah, they
something.
should have gotten a
Give
guy
me
like him.
something.
Anthony, you remember the 1990 Cincinnati Reds when they had the Nasty Boys?
Of course.
They've got to. Cora has to manage Slayton, Whitlock, and Chapman just like those guys. We got to get 6 innings out of the starters, and then the game will be over, and they can go far.
Yeah, but
And don't use
Bayo's not
Wilson.
going 6.
No.
Don't use Wilson.
You know,
Bayo's
Wilson's
not
had a
going
good
6,
year.
and the rookies aren't going 6. The only
But
guy that could possibly
he's
go
not
6
been
is
good lately.
Crochet.
Wilson's had a
Crochet's gonna-
good year, but he's definitely showing signs of overuse now.
Cora's got to go to Matz over Wilson. He just has to.
What about Bernardino? I mean, is he what's
a
his
big
He's coming
situation?
back.
Where the
He's
heck
coming
is he?
back from injury. He's coming back from injury. He's supposedly looking pretty good. He's close.
Is he
He'll
available?
be
He
ready
should be
probably
back,
by
though,
the
by now.
ALDS. Well, he's
Okay.
close. They said he's close. He's within the week. And the other thing is, if we get fucking Roman Anthony back, I don't know if we are. Now they're telling us that.
It's
Now they're telling us
ALCS.
don't expect him to even play in October.
It's
Mhm.
ALCS, if
Which
anything.
sucks, dude, because guess
Yeah.
what? A year ago, everybody said, "Oh, what are we doing with all these left-handed hitters?" Well, guess what? You traded Kyle Teal, which guess what? Who was the one guy who told you not to trade Kyle Teal? Trade Christian Campbell. Christian Campbell's the most overrated prospect. There was only one person saying that. That was I. Okay, now the jury's still out on Christian Campbell. I hope the kid can play, but he doesn't have a position. Kyle Teal does. Kyle
He's-
Teal's had an excellent year, by the way,
Yes,
and
he
he's a
has.
catcher. He's a catcher, which we need desperately. So the bottom line is we traded Teal, then we had Casas hurt for the year. We traded Devers. We got Meyer hurt for the year. Now we got Anthony hurt for the year. Then we had Abreu out. We got no fucking left-handed bats left. I mean, it's
At
like,
least-
holy
at
shit. We
least
went
we
from
didn't
having
trade-
too many to none.
At least we didn't trade frickin' Duran like we were trying to. That
Well,
was
exactly.
stupid.
And I was one of the
I was
advocates
a
saying, are
big
you out of your
advocate for
mind?
not doing
Ever
that, yeah.
trade this guy? Dude, he's the heart and soul of the team. He's the best player.
I agree.
Basically, he's the best player of the team.
Yeah, I agree.
Jaron Duran is everything, bro. In fact, he's
I just
probably
hate-
going to be the key to us winning anything this year. I
I-
think Jaron Duran's going to have to be our best player in the playoffs if we're going far.
I just hate
with Duran.
yeah, I just hate the fact that Jaron Duran strikes out way too much,
Can't do it
and
with
he
him
tr-
anymore.
and he presses too much. He's swinging at pitches at his eyeballs.
swinging at too
It
many
drives
pitches in the dirt.
He drives me crazy.
Everybody's got their flaws.
Yeah, we just don't have anybody besides Story and Bregman that can drive in runs.
I believe a lot more in Duran than I do Story in terms of the playoff. Dude, Story against a right-handed pitcher who's got a nasty breaking ball. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be
Yeah.
tough. Let's face it. Whereas I think
Well, sliders outside, he's going to be swinging and missing
That's
anyway.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The same with Rafaela. It's like both of them are like the same thing.
Is it crazy? Like, are you like the same as me? Where I feel like our 7, 8, 9 is better than our middle of the order. 4,
At
5,
times
6.
it is.
The problem
At
is
times
we
it
have a
is.
bunch of 7, 8, 9s. That's the
And
problem.
they're in the 4, 5,
Exactly.
6
The whole
spots.
lineup is 7, 8,
Yeah.
9, other
Yep.
than the top
It's a
1 or
mess.
2.
It's a mess.
Dude, have you seen our lineup this year at times? Adam Eaton, fucking Nick guard,
It's unreal.
fucking
Yep.
Look at
Dick
Navarez. As
Lowe.
soon as Navarez went into the 4 slot, that's when he started to go downhill. He got
Yep.
overexposed. He shouldn't have been there.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, because
Hey, we got a bunch of
you know
Jeff
what I thought
Fries in
that
the
was?
lineup.
Alex Cora was trying to push
There's a
him to
name.
an all-star spot. Don't you think? That's
Yep.
what I thought at the time, and it ruined him.
Yeah,
6,
that's not
7
a bad
spot.
take, Anthony.
There
That's a good one.
Yeah, there have been so many questionable. Nick, you and I, we texted a lot of times. Some of these lineups that Cora put out there, we're shaking our heads and we're like, "What the frig are we doing with this lineup?"
I flipped a
Remember,
shit.
like a few
I
weeks ago,
flipped
he
a
had
shit.
Yoshida leading off.
I flipped a shit when
But
Duran was moved to the 3rd spot. That's when I flipped the
yep,
most.
Yoshida leading off was hilarious.
Oh yeah, Yoshida leading off was comical, but but the thing is, as much as we talk about it, I do appreciate. I kind of like these guys like Adam Eaton, or I'm sorry, Nate Eaton and Nick Sogard. These are good, scrappy ball players that bring value on the bench.
I've
But we,
changed
like
my
you said,
tune.
we got too many of them. We can't have a whole fucking roster full of these guys. Those are good guys for the bench, not a lineup full of them. Romy Gonzalez,
Correct.
Abraham
They
Toro,
all
this
look
guy.
Yeah,
Romy, Nate.
too many utility guys. Exactly. That's what happens when you trade. And I know Devers was a cancer in the clubhouse, but when you trade a guy that's a 35 home run, 100 RBI guy out of your lineup, it hurts if you don't replace him.
And
Yeah,
we
but bro,
never replaced the guys we
well,
traded, ever.
Well, exactly. You're trying to tell me we couldn't get one decent first base slash DH like right-handed hitter at the trade deadline, along with a right-hand relief pitcher.
You got
Like,
lucky with Nate Lowe.
It was
You got lucky.
You got very
well,
lucky.
and how both. First of all, that was not an acquisition at the trade deadline. I'm sick of
No, it
people saying
wasn't.
that was a waiver
No.
claim after.
Yeah.
So people are trying to attribute, like, give them credit for acquiring Nate Lowe at the. No,
No,
they didn't acquire Nate Lowe.
A
They got lucky
5-year-old
to
could have
get
done
Nate
that.
Lowe. Well, exactly, bro. You can't go out and get me a like a what do you call it? Stephen Pierce, like a Stephen Pierce and like a fucking
Why couldn't
Scott Williamson.
I think the
Or
you could
organization.
have you could have went out and got Naylor. You could have went out and got Naylor.
Yeah, they were thinking about Naylor, right? And they couldn't get.
I mean, I know he's left-handed, but the fact is you got Lowe anyways left-handed. So what's the difference?
The organization
Yeah.
was hoping that Nate Lowe would be your Steve Pierce of 2018. That's exactly what they wanted to get out of him.
he looked great the first couple of weeks.
Oh my
Other than
God.
that,
that first week, right?
He's been
He
good
has-
since. I mean, he's had a couple games. I get, I understand, but he's still batting 229 right now. I think with the Red Sox. So I
you
mean,
know,
yeah.
he could be a little Mike. Was that guy Mike Carp? Was that
Yep.
his name?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good
Maybe be
call.
a little bit like that hitting wise,
mhm.
but that's about it. I mean, I don't know.
But he's
Well,
going to
it's
give you
better than
Gold Glove.
Coro, though.
He's going to give you Gold Glove defense too, which is also very important.
Yeah, way better than
Who do you
Toro.
think's better? So they call him Low Vaughn
Yep.
or Tristan Casas. Who would you rather have?
I never want Tristan Casas on this team ever again. That's the bottom line.
Ditto.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
I'm all done with Tristan Casas. Goodbye.
Problem is,
Yeah,
Go
but
down.
the thing is, he's not gonna have any value.
yeah, no, his value is shit. But if
You're
John
here.
Henry done with him, that's the thing. You know, John Henry's looking at this like I could put him in over there for 700,000 next year, save on that. My question is,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm with
I am
you.
so done with
I'm
Casas.
with you.
I just
I agree.
Yeah, but
can't take it.
Paulie's right. He's gonna be in there. He's
Oh,
going
yeah,
to be in there,
100%. He might do it
unless
right
they
or
get
not.
some great trade, which I don't think they're
Nope.
gonna get a great.
Well,
trade.
he's going to have no
He's gonna-
trade value.
Well,
So
exactly. So he will prepare for Tristan Casas at first base for
that's what I'm afraid
million
of.
I'm afraid of the
Oh,
trade.
That's what I'm afraid of.
It's
Well,
gonna
no,
happen.
mark it down. Mark it down. It's
Oh,
not a
yeah.
question. It's happening.
It's
Yep, I
definitely
know.
happening.
They're not going to let him go for
Nope.
$1 million.
No.
No, we'll be lucky if they fucking throw us a breadcrumb and we can get something, or they'll just say Romy Gonzalez. It's Romy Gonzalez and Tristan Casas next year at first base. That's our first base.
Campbell left.
Well, that's the
That's
actually. You
what
know
they're
what?
gonna do.
Campbell could be a DH for us next year. I think Campbell could be a very
The
good
problem
DH.
with that is, what are you going to do with the outfielders? That means you're going to sit an outfielder every day. If you
Get rid of Yoshida somehow.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No,
You have
I
to
think
use
we got to trade somebody this offseason. We
gotta be
have
one
to
of the
trade one of
outfielders.
those left-handed outfielders.
You have to.
I think it should be Abreu. To be honest with you, this guy can't stay healthy. He's a very good ball player, but he cannot stay on the field.
I still also think Duran's a possibility to be moved too.
Yeah,
Bro,
they're gonna
Jared
get rid of
Duran plays
Duran.
162 games.
Yeah,
They
I
might get rid of
understand.
Duran.
I understand that, but I just
Wilyer
don't think.
Abreu might play 120. It's
I
like a
just
40-game difference.
I
They're gonna get
understand
rid
that,
of
but I
Duran
just don't
because
think Duran. I don't think Duran's in their future because the bottom line here is that no, Roman Anthony's going to be your leadoff guy again next year when he's healthy, and I think that takes Duran out of that. Duran is not good in the middle of the lineup, so he just doesn't.
5'6", 5'6", he's perfect.
You know what? I don't know.
the strikeouts drive me nuts. The other part of it, he's not going to be part of that future because he's going to be arbitration eligible, and he's still going to only have 2 more years left on that contract. So
Well,
I
no, he's got 3. He's got 3. He was a Super 2 guy. So he got arbitration a year early last year. That's why they had that big dispute over like a $500,000. Because
Mhm.
what happens is since he was in year 3, because remember he came up in 2021. So
Right.
same thing with Tanner Houck. These guys came up long before, but they were up and down, so they got the service time all mixed up. But the bottom line is Duran got that arbitration money last year, a year early. He still got 3 years of team control. Abreu's got 4. I hate that argument. Well, Abreu's no, it's 1 year. I don't. And here's the thing. This is what I've been saying for years about Durant. Give him the Jacoby Ellsbury treatment. I want to take a guy like this and make him earn his contract
Of
on
course.
my team and get
Yeah.
that value on my team. There's nothing more valuable than Jaron Duran playing for a contract on my baseball team. Okay, so I don't wanna trade my best player who's gonna be in there every single game like a warrior in elite physical condition, which I respect the absolute fuck out of more than anything. I love Jarren
Good
Duran, and
point.
guess what? Everybody on the team feels the same exact way. That's called leadership. He's not a leader by voice, but he's a leader by example. The guy's a fucking monster. Do not move Duran. The guy you wanna trade is the guy who can't even walk up and down the fucking dugout steps without tripping and breaking his ankle, and that's Wilyer Abreu. Sell high on Wilyer Abreu. This guy cannot stay on the field. Get him out of there. Roman Anthony's your right fielder. Jaron Duran's your left fielder. Sanon Raphael's your center fielder. Boom. And then you got, like I said, fucking, what do we say about DH? Yeah, Christian Campbell at DH / left field, first base, whatever. That's your solution moving forward.
I agree.
I think you
I
both
just
make
worry
good
that
points. I honestly, I think you both make good points, and I would deal both of them if for the right package because of the fact that they're under contract, they're cheap, they have talent. But I don't know if either one of them are what you want. Abreu's paper mache. He's constantly hurt and he's streaky as hell. And you can't have that in the playoffs and just go over a playoff series. And Duran is also streaky and comes with his own set of baggage. So for the right set of the right package, they might have value where you say, okay, we only got to replace a right fielder, get a serviceable right fielder for a 1 year deal or whatever. Maybe overpay on the 1 year deal, but when you're looking at what's coming back, if we get some young pitching, which we always need arms, I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to trading both of them.
well, you know what? They've got to move one. They've got to move one of those guys because there's just no room for Anthony. That's the bottom line.
And Campbell. And you're pot committed. You're pot committed with Christian Campbell because you already paid him $60 million before he ever played a goddamn game.
Yep.
Why? Because some fucking nerd convinced you he was the next big thing?
He might be a DH though. I just I
That's what
don't
I
like
said.
him in the
I think
field
he's perfect
anywhere.
for a DH, but he's gotta hit.
Yeah,
He's gotta
yeah,
hit.
good point.
Well, the other thing is Ref Schneider's a free agent. So I'm just saying, if the Red Sox wanna screw around and not pay Rob Refsnyder, I'm saying if they wanna get real cheap with it, dude, this guy's been playing for like a
Red
million and a
Snyder
half.
already said he was going to retire.
Well, that's a upset because he's like, "Dude, pay me, guys, can you pay me more than like a 1.5 million? I'm like the best one
That
of
was
the
a
best
threat.
hitters." Yeah, I think in other words, I think he's basically saying like, "I'm not gonna be continuing to play for dog shit pay." So he's gonna go
Yeah,
to another team who actually appreciates the fact that this guy's one of the best hitters in baseball against left-handed pitching. He's a fucking
yep.
weapon. The Red Sox could have used him a lot more this year if they weren't trying to force Christian Campbell into the lineup early, the early first half, Romy Gonzalez, Abraham Toro, guys like this. Dude, Rob Refsnyder could have been featured a lot more this year in my eyes. I mean, he's
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 a good
he's a
professional
professional ball
bat.
player.
He is a nice professional bat to have on your bench.
Platoon. He's a platoon bat. He bats against left-handed pitching. That's the bottom line. He bats against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who will take a lot of pitches off a pitcher. He'll move a runner over. He does the little things where even when he doesn't usually get a hit, he
Slugs.
gives
No,
you
he
a
always gets
professional at
hits.
bat.
He always gets hits and he always slugs. He's one of the best sluggers and hitters in Major League Baseball against left-handed pitching. Look up the numbers if you don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's
In fact,
available
before
on
you
the.
continue to talk about it, please do look up the numbers and tell us what the numbers are since they can back up whatever claim you're making. So tell us
Again,
about Rob Refsnyder's numbers since you're such an expert.
are you talking to me?
Yes,
I
yes.
don't think
What's
I ever
Rob
claimed to be an
Refsnyder's numbers
expert.
against left-handed pitching?
I don't know. I mean, do you know his numbers?
Yeah, they're about just pretty much about as good as anybody in baseball.
I wouldn't say that's knowing the numbers. I just said he was a professional hitter, and you said I said I'm an expert on Rob Refsnyder. I don't know where you get that from. But
No, because you're Rob Refsnyder's a very, very good hitter and a very important member of the team, and he's one of the best hitters in the league against left-handed pitching. Oh, Yeah, I don't think he's going to stick around for $1 million. So that role is going to be open next year for Christian Campbell to take over. That's the point. Because the
He's
Red
hitting
Sox aren't going
304
to
with
pay Rob
7 home
Refsnyder.
runs and 25 RBIs in 134 plate appearances. I mean, I don't think that's like
What's
Mickey
his
Mantle,
OPS?
but dude, I don't know. I'm not that much of a nerd to look up all those stats.
Okay, well, I mean, it should be right there.
No, this
If
is
you look
just
at
what
Rob
AI pulls up.
Refsnyder's OPS against left-handed pitching the last 3 seasons, it's one of the best in the American League or best in baseball for sure. There's no question about it.
All right. I mean, he's not an
900, I
everyday
mean,
player. Let's be
900,
honest.
whatever.
I like Ref Snyder, but he's not an everyday player. You're not putting him in right field every day. He's good
He
against
bats
left-handers,
against
which is
lefties.
exactly what I said.
Right. He bats against lefties. He doesn't move runners over against lefties. He fucking slugs against lefties.
Well, I mean, he's got 7 home runs. I don't know, like, if you think that's some crazy
So
stat. He's
7
got
home runs, you said, in 134 plate appearances? Well, you do the math. That's a pretty good percentage.
yeah, that's an
That's
average
a
of about
35, 40. That's a
no,
40
dude,
over a course of a
550 a
season.
year. 550 a year. So you're talking 4 times 7. It's 28 home runs. Like I said, a professional batter. Again,
550 a
not
year.
Mickey Mantle.
62 games is way more than 550 plate, but more like
Average is
700.
550, and nobody plays 162.
Wrong,
Even Duran
wrong.
doesn't play
Jaron Duran's had
162.
over 700 the last couple of years. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's a leadoff hitter who plays almost every day. Very few
He's not a
guys play
leadoff
that
hitter.
much.
He's
Well,
not a
he
leadoff
was
hitter
for
now.
us till this year.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
you're
so is
you're
Rob
like really
Refsnyder.
nitpicky. You
So
have
is
like
Rob
some issue or
Refsnyder. Rob
something.
Refsnyder's
I don't even know
batted
your deal,
left.
buddy.
Rob Refsnyder's batted leadoff for us a lot as well the last few years, and he's done an excellent job at that. You can also look up those numbers where he's batted first in the
I
order,
guess he
second
should
in
be
the
in the
order,
All-Star
third in the
game
order.
every year and hitting third in
No,
everybody's
no,
lineup according to you. I
no, but
don't even know where you're going with this.
he's not Jody Reed. That's all I'm telling you. The guy, when he's in there against lefties, he's one of our best hitters.
32 career.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
87 plate appearances, 22 home
Well,
runs,
I know you
95
I
RBIs.
understand you
Solid hitting.
probably don't watch the Red Sox, and you're probably in here just to be annoying.
Yeah, I've been
You
watching the
obviously
Red
don't watch
Sox.
the Red
I've been
Sox.
watching the Red Sox since before you were born.
Really, you haven't?
Yeah.
Since
How old are
what
you?
year is that?
I don't know. I've been
You're a fraud. You're a fraud. You're a fraud. You're a fraud. You've been watching the Red Sox since when? That's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with the whole argument
You've
there.
been
Like,
well, you said you've been watching the Red Sox since when? When have you been watching the Red Sox since?
the guy you
So
were
you
arguing
watched? Did
with
you watch them
just
win the
dropped
World
off.
Series in 2004?
The guy you were arguing with dropped off.
I didn't drop off. My phone screen shut off.
Did you
Red
watch?
Snyder,
Did you watch the Red Sox
282
in
hitter career versus
2004?
lefties is all I said.
Hey, pal,
I
you watched the
paid-
Red Sox in 2004.
Excuse me?
Did you watch the Red Sox win the World Series in 2004?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I didn't.
So how old are you?
The last time I watched the Red Sox win the World Series was 2018, bro.
Right,
Come on
that's
now.
the only one you've ever
And I
seen.
watched the Red Sox win in 2004 and 2007, 2011.
We
Right.
didn't win in 11.
How old are you? How old are you,
You
Donald?
said 2011. We didn't win in 2011. In Los Carlos.
Exactly. We choked in 2011. I think Donald's a fraud. I think he hasn't seen the Red Sox. He's probably seen the Red Sox win one World Series. That was 2018, like most of these
Does he
kids.
know who Calvin Schiraldi is? Ask
I
him
think
that.
you're a fraud. Just because you live in Boston,
What-
you think you're a Boston fan. Come on, bro.
Well, I don't live in
Come on,
Boston,
bro.
actually. I was, yeah, but see, exactly. So you're not from here. You didn't watch the Red Sox win any World Series. You're a complete fraud. I don't know what you're
Not a
doing.
fraud, bro.
Yeah, you
My
are.
my
Yeah, you
mother's
are.
uncle was an orthopedic surgeon for the Red Sox when I was growing up. I used to go to spring training games at Fort Myers, bro.
What was his name? What was his name? What's his first name?
This was the orthopedic guy in and owner.
Yeah. What's his first name?
Was it Rich Gedman?
Yeah, it's called Arthur Pappet. I know your fucking uncle better than you do, Pat.
What you know about Rich Gedman? Ask him that.
All right, guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to get this guy just got on my nerve. I don't know what to deal with. I got him down.
He was born in 96.
Somebody's got a bad mic. I don't know who it is.
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, I'm just in good spirits that we clinched tonight, so I can drop the Ref Snyder argument. I don't even know why that topic came up, but nonetheless.
Yeah, we're going to the postseason. What the fuck?
He's not even going to be on the roster next year, so it doesn't matter.
So I guess my only question is, who does everyone think that will end up getting in the first round?
Charlie, your speaker's really bad. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, if you could just
I'm walking, guys. It might be the wind. My apologies.
yeah. It's got a little bit of some background there. So yeah, so I mean, I'll keep this on for a couple more minutes if he's got any more things they want to discuss. Otherwise, we'll call it for the night.
Jim, who do you think we see in the first round?
Charlie,
I
it's,
think Sox sweep over the Yankees. The Red Sox are going to sweep the Yankees. We're going on to the ALDS to play Toronto. Hard to
So you-
say after that.
so you think that you think that Toronto will wind up winning the division?
I do. I think they're going to get luckier than Yankees will.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I know New York's got two more against the Orioles, and the Toronto has the Rays. We'll see. Husky, what was your question? You were trying to ask me something, I think.
Yeah, I was just saying, who do you think we see in the first round?
If I had to guess, I think it's going to be Toronto. I think New York is going to win that division, but I think the one thing that's important right now is the fact that they both have the same record and they both have 2 games left.
Yeah.
I don't see the Red Sox really putting their foot on the gas tomorrow or Sunday.
Why not?
They'll if they're going to be the second wild card, so be it. If they're going to be the third, so be it. But I think Toronto and New York may really work hard at that. So we just need to sit back and let them, beat themselves up. I know they're not playing each other, but you know what I mean. Let them beat themselves up, so that come Tuesday, hopefully they're fatigued, and we're well rested.
I don't know why, but the Yankees, no matter who's pitching, they don't. I don't like going there. I'd rather see them at home, but that team doesn't scare me. Toronto, I am like shell shocked against them. Springer, even when he's having a bad year, kills us. What's his name? Vlad's kid there. He kills us. I have like nightmares of that team. I know we just beat them 2 out of 3, and hopefully their pitching is in shambles with the injuries. But Lord Almighty, that team scares the shit out of me.
I think they don't scare me as much as they did earlier in the year. They did put Barrios on the IL, and obviously Bassett, I think, is hurt, and they obviously did good against the other guy there that owns us. Can't think of his name right now, but
Gosman, Gosman.
Gosman. Thank you. But you know what? When you look at the Yankees and you look at the Toronto, the first thing you got to look at is you got to say, look, do not let Vlad Guerrero Jr. beat you. Do not let Springer beat you. For the Yankees, don't let Aaron Judge beat you. And that's really what it boils down to. I mean, they can't just give cookies to those guys. That's the most important thing. The other thing is that if you're going to face the Yankees or Toronto, if you're going to have the Yankees, you're going to have more left-handed pitching, so you're going to have your right-handed lineup in there. So I don't know what that means for Duran, Abreu, Nathaniel Lowe. I don't know what it means for most of those guys when you're going to have more left-hand pitching from the Yankees. Obviously, Toronto has more right-handed pitching. You're going to have your left-handed lineup in there more. So I don't know. I think gun to my head, I'd probably rather face Toronto. If I'm going to advance, I'm going to advance. So I'll take my chances, I think, with Toronto right now. Scuffling a little bit. They could have probably won this division a lot sooner. And their injuries, I just think maybe we can capitalize on it a little bit more.
There's still a way to play Detroit or Cleveland, though, right?
Yeah, we could play that one. So if Detroit wins 2 games and Cleveland doesn't, like if Detroit gets first place, we play the Yankees. If Cleveland takes first place and Detroit wins the next 2, we would actually be the last wild card and have to play Cleveland.
See, I'd rather have that
I
than
don't.
Blue Jays.
Just one of
Yeah,
those teams is going to get a
it's a weird
bye.
scenario. Like if we rest our guys, which I would prefer, but we lose 2 to Detroit and Cleveland also wins 2, if Detroit ends up winning the division, or I'm sorry, losing the division, we would still lose the head to head to them. So we would be the last wild card because they beat us 3. They're 3-1 against us this year.
But if it's
Right.
Cleveland, we win the tiebreaker. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Kind
pick
of
your poison
crazy.
because Cleveland's been hot, but and they peaked too early.
I think I'm think right now. I think right now I'm more concerned with resting my players a little bit. You've got a lot of mileage on Crochet. You've got a lot of mileage on Whitlock. A lot of mileage on Chapman. I'd love for them to. I mean, obviously somebody's got to play on Saturday and Sunday, but I mean, you're going to see Nate Eaton in this game tomorrow or Sunday. You're going to see Nick. You're going to see Sogard. You're going to see
Oh, let's
Connor
call up
Wong.
everybody from Florida and whoever we can swap guys out.
Yeah, that's it.
Fucking
Exactly.
everybody.
Exactly.
You can
So,
come in and pitch relief. I don't care.
but you know what though? I mean, if I don't have to use Chapman tomorrow or Sunday, if I don't have to use
Oh, God.
Whitlock, you know what I'm saying? If I can use those guys and let them rest a little bit and be ready for Tuesday, I think that's more important than who I'm actually
Definitely.
facing.
Yeah.
I would
So that's
rest
what
guys.
scared me about, I'll be honest, that's what scared me about tonight because going to those guys down a run, you're not playing for a tie. You're playing for 2 runs before the 9th inning because in the 9th, if Chapman goes, even if we're tied in the 10th, who goes? Because it's not Chapman. Whitlock's burned. You already used Slayton and everybody else. You would have burned them. And then
Probably
if
Kelly.
they had to pitch
That
2 days in a row, then we wouldn't have them for the 3rd game. I was shitting myself.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned early when he went to Slayton. I know Nick was on earlier, my partner on our podcast, but obviously Cora was playing down and dirty to win this game, and they're lucky. To your point, lucky that they did because extra innings in that game was a concern. When you burn Whitlock, you burn Slayton, you burn Chapman because you're probably looking at Tolley coming in, and I got to be honest, if for
Jesus Christ.
I'm nervous about him. I mean, he's electric with that fastball, but I haven't been
Nah.
impressed. I haven't been
Yeah,
impressed.
he's a young kid who needs more time, and that's clearly evident. I think that I have nothing to do with what their postseason roster looks like, but I would say a smart man would not have him on it.
Yeah.
I think you set his mental up for failure because he's given up a run in at least like every one of the 5 or so appearances. I mean, every one of the bullpen appearances and all his starts, of course, but the bullpen appearances are what really scare me, and you cannot have that in the playoffs. So if he's giving up a run every time you bring him in, like, sorry, you can't be that guy. Just set him down. Good job, kid. See you next year in camp, and let him have a mental break.
My opinion is if that game tonight went to extras, they were losing.
I agree.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, because Detroit would have scored in the top of the 10th, probably 1 or 2 runs, and you weren't coming back from that.
Yeah. I think in the playoffs, if that happens, you'll have like early to use there. But yeah, tonight they were going to lose.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm happy it ended the way it did. And I'll tell you what though, Sedon Rafaela has some kind of he loves the spotlight with the green uniforms on in the ninth, doesn't he? Boy,
So it's green uniforms, Jay.
12
Green.
walk-offs. 12 walk-offs.
I think
Oh,
6 of them
man.
with the green
And
uniforms.
he's been really slumping lately too, so God bless that kid.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a bad late August, early September. I think the last maybe 6 or 7 games, week or so, he's been a little bit better. But it's just one of those things. He and Duran too. They've got to stop trying to swing at balls at their eyeballs. That's the one thing I know. Anthony was on. He was saying Duran was so great. I'm not a Duran guy. I've never been a Duran guy. I think the potential he had a good year last year. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I just hate when I see him swinging at his eyeballs and trying to jack everything out. Instead of going the other way like he did the other night with that hit when there were 4 hits in a row. I think it was him and Romy and whatnot. He needs to do that a lot more. He needs to slap the ball a little bit more, which would give his on base percentage a huge hike, his batting average a huge hike. The problem is he's trying to swing for the fences on everything. And that's the one thing I disagree with Anthony about is because the guy's got a couple more years. The Red Sox are not going to offer him a long-term deal. They're going to let that ride out. But, he's trying to jack everything and trying to work for a big contract. And it's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think
Jim,
I think the Sox, I don't think they like the baggage that comes with him. I think they're going to deal him personally, but that's just me.
I mean, if we want to go down that road, I'm going to agree with you 100%. There's a lot there that's going on with him.
And that's
Again,
kind of why I like Duran because I mind that the stuff that comes with him. I like Duran; he's a good player. But I
Jared
just think
Duran is shoulder the load. He's trying to put it all on his shoulders and be the hero.
Yep.
And we can all agree right now that he can be the hero, but he doesn't have to do it by himself. He's got 24 other guys that are going to help him.
see, I think that's part of the problem with Duran, and we were talking about it on the podcast the other night. Thayer brought it up. With guys like Roman Anthony going down, I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself to
Bingo.
try to be that guy, and that's the problem with Duran. He can't
I put that
be.
on Cora though, Jim. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to go to a guy who's I wouldn't say he's a young guy, but he's a young guy. Like age wise, he's a young guy. Maturity wise, he's probably a young guy. And be like, hey man, play within your game. Don't try and take on too much. Like somebody's got to be there as an elder statesman or a manager or coach or whatever to be like, hey, you're not going to do yourself or the team any favors with that approach.
That's something that Bregman should probably take him under his wing and start saying because he's really the guy that's kind of your de facto player coach. I mean, there's no question about that, and I think that's what everybody wanted Duran to be. It's just he's really not doing that now because he just can't take that next step mentally. And look, I know he's got issues. He's just I don't know. And you look at the future too, and he's not going to be a leadoff hitter on this team. They're going to give that to Roman Anthony, and rightfully so. And so, it just puts him in a tougher position because he's really not good in that, fourth or fifth hole, which means you got to probably put him in the seventh or eighth hole. And I just don't know. He gets, leading off, he gets too many at bats and too many strikeouts. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
I
I
just
tell you
think
what, I ran into Roman Anthony in the Seaport on Thursday, and I didn't wanna bother the kid, he was with his handler, but I swear I was like, "Man, I wanted to ask I wanna ask him so bad, like, are you coming back? Are you gonna play in the fucking playoffs at all, and if so, when?"
Yeah. Yeah. The way that you've been listening to, if you've been listening to any of the pre or post game or some stuff on Twitter, it's looking more. I know Jared Carabas had something on it yesterday, but it's looking more unlikely that he will be available at all. There was a report
Yeah.
today that Mayer could be available. But you know what? We talked about this earlier on the space tonight. I really don't know if Mayer is available. I'm not sure I really want him on the playoff roster because I'm really not sure what he's going to give you. And the fact
Yeah.
is that if it's going to mean that someone like Nate Eaton is not going to get that spot, I disagree with that. I would rather have Nate Eaton has won me over. I know he had that terrible play at third base when he was earlier in the year. And he's probably not the best gifted baseball player, but you know what? He's not an automatic out. And he's okay defensively, and he's got the speed. I mean, you look at it tonight. That was a situation that if Nate Eaton wasn't here, you would have had David Hamilton pinch running. And you know what? I don't have a lot of faith in David. I don't
Oh,
like
no.
David Hamilton to begin with, but I have no
Yeah.
faith in him as a defender. I have no faith in him offensively. And seriously, for the amount of speed that guy has, he's not very good on the base paths.
But you know
I
what,
I
Jay?
think the
I'm a big Sogard fan. I think Sogard's even faster. He's got, I mean, Christ, how many big hits has he had every time they give him a chance to come up and play? And he's, at least representative with the glove. I hear what you're saying on Eaton. I feel the same way about Sogard.
Yeah, look, you're not wrong. I mean, the thing is that I probably would rather have Sogard than Meyer because here's the
Yeah.
thing, Marcelo Meyer has not picked up a bat in 2 months, if not longer. And
Yeah.
do you really want him on this roster? I mean, defensively, he was sharp. He was a major league defender. But you know what? I'd rather have Sogard because he's a little bit more warm, and especially if you're going to play him Saturday and Sunday going into the playoffs and getting a few at bats. I think that's important. It's the other thing that Nick and I were bringing up earlier today. I would not be do not be shocked if Cora DHs Abreu this weekend either, because I think he's going to want him to get more at bats. Point being is because there's no minor leagues anymore. These
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
got to these guys got to get at bats. I just don't. That comment about Mayer today kind of irked me because I'm like, this isn't Roman Anthony coming back. It's not Rafael Devers coming back. It's like he's going to be a defender. He's gonna be challenged offensively. We really don't need him on the playoff roster.
I think the
Yeah.
thing with
You know
him
what?
though is there'll be a wild card roster which he won't be on. So it would be the next roster anyway, the ALDS
Sure.
one. It does come down to Sogard versus him because it's the lefty righty thing. Like they'll put him in there, against the righty.
Which kind of like makes you wonder if Solgaard's going to be on there as the lefty and Eaton. I'd rather have Eaton than Hamilton. And with the amount of lefties we have, Hamilton might be the odd guy out here.
I
One
don't
can
think
only
Hamilton
hope
should be on
because
the on
he's
the
soft.
roster at all.
I don't want him.
Hamilton is like just, oh God. Every time I see him in a lineup, I get a little bit sick to my stomach.
So do I. I mean,
Me too.
I mean, I don't think anybody could have confidence in him. I mean, Cora obviously pinch ran Eaton tonight, but does anybody have any confidence if that was Hamilton? I mean,
No,
he's going to
none.
screw it. He was going to screw it up. I mean, the ball wound up hitting Eaton in the arm, and he wound up advancing to third base. I don't even think Hamilton does. Hamilton probably gets thrown out in that instance somehow.
Yeah, you know what?
He's awful.
Let me ask you this about think about getting thrown out, and I was thinking about this during the game, so I'd like to hear the people's feedback on if I'm crazy or not. When Duran's on first base, especially with a 1-0 pitch, Story came up, he hit into that double play late in the game. There, we're down a run.
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
Why wasn't he going on the 1-0 count, knowing
I
that they're
said the
probably
same
going to try
thing.
and why?
Same
Like,
thing
what the
too.
fuck was that?
Yeah, I said the same thing. I didn't know why he
Should have been
wasn't
in
running
motion.
there. He
Yeah.
should have been in motion to try to break up a double play. Period.
Break up a double play or just a straight steal to get in scoring position because you need that run.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if it was anyone but Story or Bregman, he would have been in motion there. They just wanted to let Story sit on
Once
the
again,
bat.
guys, I'm going back to what Jim said earlier, is it's Duran's mental blockage. I
Yeah.
think the kid, his potential is off the charts, but he also has a shit your pants chart that is off the charts.
Yep. Yeah.
But you don't put that on the manager at all to call for the steal there?
No, it's on the
That's usually
manager,
a call
yeah.
that comes from the dugout. Like, I don't know if he just has carte blanche to steal or not steal when it's this late in the season, especially. It's not game,
Yeah,
65.
that should have
It's
been a call.
159.
That should have
Yeah.
been a call.
I absolutely agree, but there's times where, I mean, literally, I watch every game these son of a bitches play, and I shake my head at what the hell Alex Cora is doing. But then again, tonight, I watched Alex Cora, and I'm like, you're a fucking genius.
Yeah.
High five, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Again,
I think the horseshoe sometimes is up his ass because I've seen him fuck up so many easy decisions through the years. Like, I'm sorry, I'm the biggest Alex Cora I won't say hater, but like
I am.
non-respecter.
Yeah.
I
No,
do not think he's a good in-game manager. I think he
he's
might be
not.
one of the worst bullpen managers we've ever seen. I think
Yep.
he fucks up more games than he wins. I just like when we win, it's because he's got overwhelming talent or he's lucky or something. Like he just gets outmanaged every fucking time. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we get someone who knows baseball here, please? Please.
I mean, if you follow any of my tweets or the website, I am not an Alex Cora fan. I'm the first one to admit that. But I will say this: he managed very well in the 2018 postseason, and in 21 he was pretty good. But this is going to be one of those things where you look at John Schneider, you look at Aaron Boob, and everybody else, and you're going to see him manage a lot differently, just like he did today. Bringing Slayton in was it wound up being a smart move. Let's be honest with you, but it was uncharacteristic. But that's the kind of things that Cora will do in postseason style games, and I think that's where if we're gonna go and advance anywhere in this postseason, it's got to be Alex Cora just pulling all the right strings.
Yeah, well, I think Jim, you and I are both gonna know that that's probably that ain't gonna happen because he's a guy who gets lucky to pull one string once in a while, and then usually the cards all fall around the table.
I know, yeah.
'Cause I don't know. I have no faith in this guy. In 18, it was such a juggernaut, and he did make good moves, and that's great. But God,
Yeah,
unless
he just had
we're
he
just
had
a
so many
wagon.
weapons to use in
Ugh.
18 and so many extra starters. We just don't have that this year.
But yeah, I don't know. I know there's so many managers out there. Like, I don't know. Call me crazy. I think Joe Girardi was a great manager. He caught a raw deal. I
Absolutely
mean,
did.
hell, we fired fucking Frank Cone, who's the best manager, maybe in baseball history, but definitely in Red Sox history. Like, we go with guys that make you scratch your head like crazy and get rid of guys or don't hire guys who have just serious acumen. So I'll never understand the brass, what they do, and if they just want someone who'll say yes and do what they tell them to. But God, I would love to see someone who just was a real baseball strategist.
Matt Patsy is the guy I want. Get rid of Corey's ass. Go get Patsy from Oakland. That's the guy.
Yeah, he's good too. Yeah, I have to agree that Terry Francona was the best that we've had in the last 30 years. I mean, of course.
I got him in the top 10 of all times, and I'm not saying he's 10 either. If he gets Cincinnati into the playoffs before he retires, what, 3 teams he's gotten to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Series?
I miss Francona and Dombrowski. I do miss those two.
Yeah, Dombrowski's
Oh, man.
probably. I mean, look, Theo was good, and Theo, but
Yeah.
but Theo also had Lucchino, and Lucchino was a dying breed. You don't get guys like Larry Lucchino and George Steinbrenner Sr. anymore. The old man. It's like those guys. They lived to win, and the new regimes are not like that. And Dave Dombrowski was a guy that he was such a baseball guy, and he could identify the talent, and and people argue with me all the time, like, oh well, he killed this farm system, and I always say to everybody that tells me that, tell me which trade you want back, because there's not one that I could find that he traded away that you would want back.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh no,
Dombrowski. Yeah.
Dave Dombrowski was a real GM. He was like the last. He's one of the dying breed. He might be the last guy. Like balls on the table, make the big moves, take the big swing, and get the big wins because he has his teams where they need to be with a shot to win it every friggin' year. And you look, you're like, I mean, how many times every year we're like, I just wish I had a guy like Dombrowski. I mean, how many deadlines in a row now? We're like, God, if we only had, double D.
And one of the other things too, I mean, if Dombrowski was still here, I guarantee you Tristan Casas would not be. And I would have loved to know who he would have gotten in a trade with that. Maybe he would wound up getting Brian Wu from Seattle or George Kirby at the time. Who knows? But he had the knack to be able to identify. Look at Devers alone. To get rid of Johan Moncada in the Chris Sale trade, well, the White Sox wanted Devers. But Dombrowski identified the right guy and he traded the right guy at that time. So, he had a knack for that. And that's what was so important. It wasn't just make the trades, it was to know it was to make the trades and the guys you were trading were the suspects and not the prospects.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
got
know what? Matt
Kimbrel, that
talks about that
package.
all the Maz talks about that all the time, that that's the number one quality of a legit GM is
Yep.
identifying who your real guys are and who the fugazis are and get rid of them while their value is high. And I can't tell you a guy that I Dave traded where I'm like, man, I really wish I had that guy back. I mean, literally not one. Not one guy I
There
even want
isn't.
back if they were free.
There isn't one guy. The only guy that actually had any sort of a career was that center fielder, Manuel Margot. He was the only one.
Yeah, he's like a 240 hitter. He played for
Yeah,
Tampa for a bunch
I
of years. Guy
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah, no one wants him back, but that's the only guy that actually amounted. Marcel Dubrun. I mean, other
he
than
might have
that,
been he was pretty good, but I mean, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
But I mean, again, they're dime a
Kopech hasn't
dozen.
pitched more than like 40 innings a year, I don't think.
No,
And Espinoza
no.
was a complete bust, and Pomeranz helped us in that
I know.
in the
And then
run.
Pomeranz had a 17-win season too. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. So it's like anytime anybody kind of comes at you and says, "Oh, Dabrowski, he ruined the farm system," just say, "Who did you want back?"
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And that's the
I'll
So,
thing
take
with
I
with
I'll
these
take Win.
prospects that we didn't trade for,
I'll
like, a
take
Joe Ryan.
yeah, I
oh,
mean, I'll
yeah. I mean, he would have Josh. He would have had the Joe Ryan deal done.
Oh,
There's no
100%.
question.
He would have had Joe Ryan anyway. He would have had that closer too, Duran. He would have took them both.
I wanted them
oh,
both too, Paulie. I wanted them both too. I wanted a double on that
They could
because
just moved on.
if you had Durand in that along with Chapman and Whitlock, oh my goodness, you could have had starters go 5 innings and be done.
He might have had
oh,
Miller.
we're in first place right now. We have a bye if we get those guys.
Oh sure.
Easy.
Oh, you easily are in first place, even with this team alone. Look how many bonehead plays. I mean,
No,
go back from April. I mean, when they were
oh,
kicking the ball around the infield, this team was a joke in April. A fucking joke.
Yeah.
yo,
They
let me
were
ask you this.
embarrassing.
I mean, just
Let me
think
ask you
about
this. Breslow's been I'll give him credit because the acquisitions he's made, have been pretty decent. Now, I wonder if his hands are tied sometimes by Kennedy. Like, I feel like Kennedy is an absolute snake and
Kenny's the
nothing he
problem.
says is legit. And I feel like he ties the hands on the wallet, even though he says one thing, because obviously they do another. I want to give Breslow credit because he had what he had to deal with. He's put a pretty decent roster together, all things considered. And when people knock the depth of the Red Sox, it's like, this is literally the second team. Like, if you look at all the injuries we had through the year, I mean, we're kind of playing with like a
This
half a
is the
half a
depth.
down
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah,
Well,
this
So
is
I,
the
I
one.
give him credit for that.
here's the other thing about this, and I am not a Heim Bloom guy at all, not even close. But again, how much leeway did Heim Bloom have for autonomy in building his rosters? And I think Sam Kennedy has and always will be the problem, and he's the guy that needs to go because he's the one that is actually making all these decisions, and he's the one that's going to save money for John Henry. And he's just going to be the liaison going back to John and saying, can we spend here? I want to spend here and so forth. That's the problem. And there's no way, and you see how it was early in Breslow's career too. It's changed a little bit, but I think maybe the Red Sox might be realizing that, you know what? You can't fire Breslow now because he was your 15th choice for GM to begin with.
That's down a chick.
Yeah. Who said that she couldn't relocate and her fucking desk is across the fucking way from Breslow's.
Yeah.
She was in the
When you
same
get turned down by a chick in sports, just know that there's something seriously wrong.
she was in the same fucking room
Rake
and she
Yeah.
couldn't and she couldn't commit to it.
I,
So and then
The problem
And
with
now,
Kennedy is he's an owner, so we don't like. There's no
a-
way to ever get rid of him. Like we're saddled to him like fucking herpes.
and now you lost that kid to the Nationals who was
Cavani,
supposed to be
yeah.
yeah, who's supposed to be an up and coming executive. And it's like, all right. And I tweeted out, I'm like, all right, so we lose the best guy in the fucking organization and we still have Breslow. So look, this is always and will always be a Sam Kennedy problem. There's no question in my mind. I mean, John Henry drives us nuts. But this is, and as far as Tom Warner's concerned, he doesn't even know what fucking team he owns.
Yeah, he doesn't even
So,
Yeah.
talk. But I mean, the thing I
I
always go
don't
back
think
to
either
with
Henry
those guys.
or I don't think Henry or Werner are anywhere near the day to day. Like they're so
no,
far above when it comes to the portfolio
no.
that they're looking
Sam,
at, from
Yeah,
a
Sam,
it's
35
yeah,
the
thousand
problem
foot
is
view.
when they changed from Larry to Sam. That's the problem.
yeah. Sam Kennedy runs the Red Sox, and that's your problem.
And it we used to be Larry, and that's when we won all those titles.
Yeah, and Kennedy loves to talk about 2018 like he had a goddamn thing to do with it. It's like, dude, you literally walked in the door. That was already there. And
Yeah,
since then you've done dick.
The problem with Kennedy and some of these guys, they're still living in those seasons, and they can't do that anymore. They don't have a pass on that anymore, and that's why some of these guys, like even Veritek, it's like some of these guys, it's like Eddie Romero, it's like I think we need to move on from some of these people because
I think Veritek's there just to wear the uniform in the dugout and remind people that we used to be good and bring goodwill because otherwise, I don't know what he brings, but
Honestly,
he's
yeah.
probably getting paid, $500,000, $1,000,000 a year to drink beers with the guys and have people in the stands looking like, oh yeah, yeah,
no
yeah. Okay,
doubt.
we love
No,
the Red
no,
Sox.
no,
Game
no
planning.
doubt. And I know you weren't on earlier when I started this space, but we had talked about Veritek a little bit earlier on. And I've never been even when he was a player, I've never been a Veritek guy. And the reason why I'm so not a Veritek guy now is because I mean, Josh, you were a catcher, so you can understand this. How does a guy how do you have how do you have Jason Veritek as a catcher and a coach on this team, and yet you still have so many catchers interference by Navarez. I don't get how that could even happen.
That's a wild one. That is a seriously wild one.
Yeah, I don't get the Veritek thing.
So it's like, what does Jason Veritek do here? And the other part of it is too, I've never been a Bailey fan. People are like, oh, Bailey can help everybody. It's like, how come he couldn't fix Jordan Hicks? And where's Quinn Priester right now?
Well, the biggest thing with Bailey was we thought he was so good because he fixed Hauk, but now where's Hauk? I mean, he's hurt, but he didn't pitch well in the start of the year.
Hauk was good for 5 minutes. He sucked in the second half, and he was
Exactly.
shit this
And
year.
then that's where the Bailey lab came from. It was never a lab.
Yep.
It was
Well, look
one
at Cutter
guy for
look
a
at
few
look at
months.
Cutter Crawford. Cutter Crawford started off very strong last year, and now he's on the shelf the entire season.
Yeah, that was a freak injury.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand. I
they
get
need a
it.
new hitting coach, a new third base coach, and a
But
new
look how many
pitching coach.
But Josh, look how many guys got injured under Bailey's
Oh,
tutelage.
I've not been impressed with Bailey. I was impressed with the Hauk last year, but I mean, he's done nothing since to prove that he's
No. I mean, Zach Kelly had Tommy John.
so many
I
guys
mean,
got hurt. I mean, think about it. Dobbins, Fitz, Hauk. I mean, there's
Well,
just a long
Dobbins, I'll
list.
give you that was a freak accident when he ran to the base. I'm not gonna crack him for that one, but the
Oh
rest
yeah,
of the
Dobbins
guys,
is
we've had a lot of arm issues. A
Sandoval never
but
lot.
showed up.
but why can't Bailey fix a lot of these guys? Who was that guy that we got middle of the season that we DFA'd? I forgot
Oh,
who
the
he was
redhead
now.
that sucked ass? That redhead
Eli.
Uh
from the May?
no, not Dustin May.
He
Well, he's
sucked.
one of them too. But how come these guys can go to other organizations and become, really good
How about
pitchers?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Kelly, when he came here, he was good. He left here, he was better. I mean, there's a bunch of middle
I mean, he's
relievers I
before.
feel like that leave here and all of a sudden they're good.
I
Tim
mean,
Hughes, he was pretty. He was just a young kid. He went to Tampa. He was like their number 3 starter for a handful of years. A bunch of guys when they leave here, all of a sudden they
Springs, yeah.
blossom. They're
yeah.
at least representative.
I mean, that was obviously before Bailey. I'm just kind of like
I'm
talking
just
like,
saying in general, like
yeah.
I don't know if it's our pitching like mantra or whatever, but whatever we do is dumb.
Well, and again, here it is. You've got Bailey, you got Breslow, are supposed to be these pitching gurus. My biggest beef here is Quinn Priester.
Oh, yeah. I think
You
he's
know,
pitching to
Because
a
they traded
a
York.
3 ERA, and he's what, 13-2?
Yeah, it's
They
ridiculous.
identified him because they traded York for him, right? And then they
Yeah, they
couldn't do anything with him. Yeah.
yeah, they traded that middle infielder for him, to Pittsburgh.
Well, how do we get rid of him again? Do we DFA him?
They traded him
They
for
traded
shit.
Priester for a minor league outfielder.
Oh yeah, I forgot who the guy was.
Giordani Negro from
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
because we have so much pitching and we have not enough
International money
A
too.
ball outfielders.
Yep.
Let's say, guys, don't forget the competitive balance pick they got.
Oh,
for him.
Sean Newcomb. We could
Yeah,
use him
we could
again
use
too.
him.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was an odd one. He actually had a few decent outings, and then they got rid of him. And they were like, "Wait, do we not have we have not enough pitching? What the fuck was that?"
Every single like starter type guy they couldn't hit on has gone and dominated since leaving. Bueller,
Yep.
Oh,
Newcomb, Priester. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah. So what are we doing wrong here?
It's not a Bailey Lab, bro.
everything,
He's
mostly everything.
yeah.
I would say mostly everything.
We just
That's what.
cannot develop pitching. We just the
That's why I
only
think
pitcher we've gotten that's been worth anything is Bayo.
I think they need to
I
keep.
think there should be a new top down initiative in the front office. You must go opposite George. Whatever you think you should be doing, then you have to do
Do
the
the
opposite.
exact opposite.
They need a complete douching from the top down. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I wanna bring him back to the old, Seinfeld days when George was working for Steinbrenner and say, "Okay, it's opposite George. All of that will work."
I will
Yeah.
say the only thing that has given me some hope is the Connolly Early dude.
I like what I've
Yeah.
seen.
Because that's a development that came through their system. I mean, Tolley has progressed pretty quickly. He's not been good this year, but he's been good in the minors. But I mean, those two
So
guys. So maybe they're starting to do something.
I mean,
But I don't know.
I'm not going to shit on Harrison because he was kind of a little bit raw today. The walks bother me, but I mean, I think there's something there. I
Good for
do.
3 innings. I mean, yeah, I've liked his starts. You just can't go more than 3 innings, like one time through.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to shit on him yet. I'll let that develop and see how it goes. I like what I see out of early. Totally kind of scares me a little bit. I just think he
He's
needs
just
to
so
go back to
young,
the
I think.
minors. He's got to go back to the minors, and that's why I don't know if he is going to make the postseason roster or not.
No, because it's got
Um,
to go from 28 to 26. So I think they should shave Tolley and Hamilton, and then maybe get Bernardino on for Murphy or something.
I
that
mean, the
Murphy
thing
should
with
not make
Early
the rotation.
that's really attractive about the way he pitches is twofold. Number one, he moves the ball around and he changes speeds and he like pitches, he doesn't just throw. And then he's shown us a bunch of times now, gets in jams and gets out of jams and gets out with a K. Like he's crafty. And I was like, man, that's a guy I mean, you're not going to trust a kid who's that young now, let's say, especially in the playoffs. But over time throughout a season, you can start to develop trust and say, okay, now you can let the guy go. And then you don't have to pull him early, go to the bullpen in the fifth. Like sometimes Cora goes crazy going to the pen too early. And then you yank the guy that didn't have any runs on him, but maybe he had a guy on or something. And then you burn the pen. Like if you
I
got
tell
a
you what
guy
I
who can
do
get in and
though.
out of jams, that's nice.
I tell you what I do though. I've thought about Early. I mean, I know he's so young, but like I almost would rather have him pitch over Giolito. That might be crazy, but I don't know. Because
Uh,
The way Giolito
So
lines up is he's supposed to pitch the final game of the season, but he's not going to do that now.
he's
So
not going. No, he's not going to.
he's going to be on
no.
like 7 or 8 days rest before he pitches again.
You know what though? Don't be surprised if Giolito does start the game and just pitches 2 innings because it's going to be the same as being like a bullpen day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they'll
That's a good
probably
point.
have him do an off to the side bullpen instead of pitching in the game, but that's just me.
Either way, yeah, either way that might occur.
But it
So
is gonna be 8 days before he has a full start, either way.
The thing is, he doesn't like going more than 5 days, but also he seems to be somewhat fatigued because he was laboring his last couple starts.
Yeah, maybe it'll help him in game because he'll go game 3 of that series if it gets there.
right.
I'd rather see him game 2 because at least it's less of a layoff, although he's still gonna get a pretty long layoff.
Yeah, but
And,
they're gonna want Bayo on 5 days, so I would think he would go, but maybe not.
that kid, I think, needs rest. He feels like he's got a tired arm.
I just think they'll go Giolito Crochet, Bayo, Giolito, but I could be wrong.
Well, and that was part of some of the things we were talking about earlier tonight from whenever you guys got on. But I don't expect much out of tomorrow and Sunday. I just think, however it plays out, they're going to wind up not caring whether they're the second wild card or the third wild card.
Oh,
They're
I
just
hope they have Boston Latin out there playing. I don't wanna see
Yeah,
a guy other than our
Harry
bench taking
Schmedlap
a
will be
at-bat.
playing first base.
I don't even know if I'll
Yeah.
watch. Yeah, they should definitely rest
Yeah.
guys. have
Harry
Abreu get
Sch-
some at bats, but I mean they should rest Duran, Bregman.
Harry Schmedlap would be at first.
Good.
Sogard, Eaton, Romy, Hamilton,
Yep.
Abreu. No.
I don't even honestly. I don't even know if I want Romy playing.
Yeah, I misspoke.
I,
I don't want him in there either.
you know, because we have trouble with second baseman getting hurt and shit. So I don't
He
want to.
might be the
I don't
most
want.
valuable. Yeah. Don't put Romy in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be Sogard, Eaton, maybe probably Yoshida DHing Abreu or at least Abreu.
I think
Maybe
Abreu
they put
should.
a Yoshida in left field since he can, it'll take him 3 years to move around out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never seen a
that
guy with like sausage legs run so slow. I mean, his legs move like furiously, and he doesn't go anywhere.
yeah, he looks like a video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would not be shocked if Abreu's the DH because I really do think they're going to want to get some at bats, for him, especially coming back from that injury, and there's no minor league, so I definitely could see that happening. But don't expect Alex Bregman to play. I'll tell you that right now.
No,
Oh
the
no.
top 3 guys and maybe Romy should not play tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I got to run, guys. It was great chatting.
Yeah,
Good.
same.
Good.
Same here. I'm
Jim.
gonna wrap it up. You guys have a great night, and we'll do another one of these before the end.
Sounds good.
Cool.
You too.
Have a good one, fellas.
Good night.